Welcome to the closing show. It is Tuesday. We had CPI data this morning. Market has been on the move. Initially, it was a strong move to the upside when core CPI number came out there. It was slight miss there. It was really not too big of a number, but you did see a strong move that has since been reversed a little bit. So unfortunately, it's one of these days once again. I'm going to jump right over to have a quick look at the futures, which I'm going to check the board there, but yeah, I'm not sure that one's even correct. We'll have to go. It's not actually not even. Yeah, that one should not have come up there. It looks like that needs to be refreshed. But we'll jump to the big board, and the real story has been big tech today. You had tons of strength in Tesla. It was up about 3 or 4%, now reversing to about 1.8. Amazon only 1% to the upside. Microsoft has turned red on the session, down 0.7%. Apple up 1.3. There was some strength in healthcare previous to this in all the market downturns. Now they are weak. Across the board, with the exception of J&J up. You've got Pfizer down 1%, Merck down 1%, United Health down 0.5%. That's been an absolute beast and falling under some pressure here today. You do have strength in the energy sector. We talked this morning, and we'll sort of go on about how strong oil's recovery has been. You got XOM trading up 3%. Chevron trading up almost a full 3%. Occidental was as high as 5%. That's come back in a little bit, but still showing 3% gain on the session. You have had at least a tiny bit of interest in the bank names. Now, they are down across the board. JPM is going to be the first of those reporting. We get JPM reporting tomorrow. They're down almost a full percent. Bank of America and Wells Fargo down 0.7 and 1.3% to the downside. So weakness overall in the banks. We'll see what happens when these start to come out tomorrow morning. Certainly, they can be a bit of a barometer for how the market is going to react in this earnings season. There is a little bit of strength, relatively speaking, in a few of the chip names. AMAT is barely up on the session. You'll see Cisco got down 1.3 on a downgrade. Intel is up 0.8%. Qualcomm up 1.7. Micron showing some signs of strength. However, you've got NVIDIA and AMD, one that we will be talking about, not to spoil anything there, but NVIDIA and AMD down 1.4 and 1.2% respectively. If you're looking for some kind of strength in anywhere in this market, you have been able to find it with some of the consumer staples. Holding up rather nicely are both Coke and Pepsi, basically tracking about 1% to that upside. But there's one thing we always do around here, and I might have teed up with a little bit of a hint what it is that we're going to review. There are lots of trading opportunities, whether it's small cap, large cap. We always want to start things off by doing a bit of a review of the ideas and potential trades that were out there in the morning. In this particular case, Sean is going to review one that he had on and still has on right now. So let's get right to it with Sean's trade of the day.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, today's trade of the day. Look, I just switched to last minute. It was going to be NEO because yesterday we were going short NEO into 20, and eventually that worked into the downside. So we repeated that today, and that was working the short 20 off NIO. But we're going to go with AMD. And why are we going to go with AMD? It's because of the bias, right? We talked about this all week. We've been noticing AMD's been weak. Obviously, the semis have been acting horrible over the last couple of weeks. They're actually down 15% in the last couple of days as a group. Check out the SMH if you wanted to see what I was talking about. But look at AMD. This just goes back, like these are days. That's today. So 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 days. 6 days ago, AMD 111. Right? So that themselves has dropped down 15% here. So yeah, we came in today, we saw the CPI number, and it was rocking. And once AMD broke that $100 level, which actually happened yesterday or a couple days ago, was it yesterday or a couple days ago right here, we broke down below, we had never tested back above that. So that 100 was really key. Arun had a short off that, off the open. We didn't. But look at this move. Core CPI comes out at 830, 6.5 versus 6.6. So slightly better, like, you know, in petit peu on that one. boom to the, sorry about the French, boom to the upside right there, up to $100, right? Completely stops. So, all right, so our bias is still in there. There's no trend change. It does not break the 100, so we're looking for the short. Unfortunately, you know, we were trading a few other things. As the market opens up, down, then back up, then look at this move back down. And then at this point, we're like, okay, we haven't traded AMD all day. We did pretty good on Facebook long. We're trading AMC. But then I'm like, you know what? Let's find some levels. So what I was really starting to do was just thinking about this 97 level up to 97.50 where VWAP is. And that's basically where we start this day. So my first short, not a good one. So we go short right down here. Big move down to 95.80. A pop back to 96.50. We take the first short. That's fine. We're building a position. This is our new strategies. Notice the time. We're talking about 11:30. So this is not a situation where I'm expecting kind of chaos like this to happen. The CPI number is already built into the market and the NASDAQ starting to head down. So we know that we want to look short because we have a bias in the stock, right? And so here goes AMD, boom to the upside. Then we reload it at this level, again, ahead of VWAP, and we're pretty confident that we have a decent spot here. This goes into the pre-market high. It goes to some consolidation right there, and then we tick that out, okay? Now this is where the fun starts to begin because all of a sudden this starts happening and we start to collapse back down in again to that same area of support where we look back to the pre-market, okay? But look what happens here. This is where we turn into scalper mode because once we have this top, we're now going to say, hey, let's see if we can keep shorting around this resistance level, okay? So that's what we do, and we always have our target out on VWAP now. So short again, out. Comes back up, thank you. Again, comes back up, thank you. And this time we're loaded up here because how many times are we gonna see this happen and I'm gonna scalp it out? No, we wanna make sure, like Neil said, now it's working against me, but we did have a spot on there to keep it for these bottoms. I'm still in this trade. We actually hold a decent amount of shares here, which is making me nervous. I should probably go back and trade this, but holding a decent amount of shares here into this because you know what? It's almost, well, it's 2 o'clock now, but the market could fade out the rest of the day. So we want to try to respect some of these bottoms, which is why we took that out right there at the day's low. But if you look back, we're not working with much. I mean, when you look here, we don't have too much to look at as far as bottoms are concerned. So maybe we're there. And this is what we're talking about with the trade of the day. Maybe this is going to be support. Who knows? If the NASDAQ continues to push lower, though, then I look for a re-break into this level. So will I short again? Yeah. We're going to keep on rinsing and repeating this trade until we break back above this 97.20 area. So if it comes back up, sure, we've given up some profit because we didn't get out. But you know what? If I get out all the way down, then I don't have anything left for that bottom pick, right? And so I think it's very, very wise to trade up and switch your styles sometimes. We're scalping in here. But then when it breaks this level here, we got to leave some on. So we have a big winner here for AMD. We're pretty happy with it. I got to get back to my desk to trade it. But identify a weak name, right? If the NASDAQ is going to turn red on us today, we've already got a name that's red. So I believe something like this, relative weakness to the NASDAQ, let's see what happens here in the afternoon. But AMD short, hey, pretty good here as we paint it on the screen.
There you go, and there you have it. All about relative strength and relative weakness. That's what I love to hear because, truthfully, the market's going to make its moves. And if you can find something which is going to accelerate either counter trend or go with the trend as it comes back, that's where it's going to be. First things first, however, make sure you know what to trade. That's why we throw up our watch list there every single day, tradertv.live, watch list.tradertv.live. You can also scan that QR code. The name that was at the front of the watch list this morning, it's going to be Twitter, and Twitter is down 4%. It's been relatively weak. Cathie Wood sold some shares. They've been selling them since December. They had about 4.6 million shares of Twitter. Her ARK fund down to under 1 million shares after some sales yesterday. So Elon Musk in, Cathie Wood and ARK getting out of Twitter. Yesterday we were talking about a 48 high. There was almost that break late in the session. If we come to the chart, it was a double top on Twitter yesterday, thinking, okay, this morning it had a chance. It got there. It reversed like a bat out of hell. So coming right back to the downside, we are now resting on 45 even. So there's a lot of things moving in the market, and apologies for that quote board, by the way. The S&P and the NASDAQ basically now flat on the session. So that quote board was yesterday's for whatever reason. But Twitter pulling all the way back. What are we doing with Twitter here? Back at 45 even. Did Kathy make the right call?
Kathy Wood, what is she doing? Dumping those shares? I missed that.
Cashing out, right?
Cashing out. Okay, cashing out. Well, okay, Kathy Wood. Hey, look, I mean, I've been following. I'm into RQ. We talked about that. I'm actually at RQ right now. My price is 64. It's my only buy there in that one. Did she make the right call? I mean, I don't know. She's made a couple of horrible calls in the past that we've seen, including selling Roku sub 100, selling Palantir at 10. Now that's at 13 or whatever, so that's 30% giving it up. I don't know. I don't know what the right call is for Twitter. Look, without Elon Musk, I mean, we went long. We made money on Twitter today. Everything's all good. We did get that last bottom pick right there. So I don't know. I'm disappointed with the action on Twitter. I haven't bought any shares in the last couple of days on this name. But look, this is where we were before the 20. This is a 20-minute chart, but this is where we were before Elon Musk came through. We were at 39 bucks, and they're not performing well. We already know that stocks and companies that aren't making money right now aren't performing well in the market, right? Now, obviously, it's a name that Kathy Wood would come after, but this has been pretty weak heading into Elon. But you can look at the volume here. It's definitely picked up since the interest is back in the name. And if we can't hold this $44, then that's when I feel more comfortable making a call that this move is over. But I still feel like, in Arun, again, I know exactly what you're going to say because it's
headline risk.
Makes sense. You're not trading this stock based on fundamentals right now. You're not trading this stock even based on technicals. You're just hoping, if you're in the name, that, hey, something will come of this possible board seat, which he said he's not going to be taking, or the 9.2% that he currently has. Has he upped that? Has he sold it like Kathy Wood? I don't know. I don't know what the decision's going to be here for Twitter, and I know that's not much help. But for me, you know, if we break that 44, then that's a complete game changer, and I'm going to be looking short back in here and into 40 where we started. So, hey, look, all of us can't own 9% of a company. Sorry about that. But anybody, there's big investment. We've seen HPQ with Warren Buffett. It had a beautiful bump up on that day, now trading lower than those levels. So, hey, can Twitter get back to 39 bucks on this? Of course it can. And their earnings are coming in the next 2 or 3 weeks as we start off with JP Morgan tomorrow. So look, I'm excited to hear what Twitter has to say. But until they figure out how to monetize and or get those daily active users up, I think this is a no-fly zone until we hear more from Elon Musk and what the plans are for moving forward.
Like Sean said, I've been avoiding Twitter intraday trading it because of the headline risk associated with it. Right? At any point you get a Twitter tweet or any sort of news, and boom, it goes. Or
goes AMC.
To the upside. So I'm not going to touch this. And it may be a great investment candidate if you had it at the right prices earlier. But at this point, as a trading candidate, it's going to be tough to not ignore or not to even focus on that possibility of a headline risk issue. So not going to touch it. We're going to move on to the next thing, I believe.
Sort of moving right on, we talked about that. We're going to show tech weakness here, and you've already shown AMD going to the downside. Now, big tech has been something that's been sort of in the front of the mind after what happened yesterday, leading the way to the downside. So when we put on that market reversal after initially spiking on that CPI number, I'm going to highlight Microsoft. Like, when was the last time we actually saw Softy put in multiple days? It's now been 6 days in a row that we've been going to the downside on Microsoft. We've cracked 285. It's turned red on the session. Not every name on the board has turned red. Cohen downgraded Netflix this morning, so they were already under pressure. We're sitting on the low of the day right now for Softy, down 0.6%. So, tech weakness after we just had, initially what felt like it was going to be a bit of a rebound day. But what are we doing here with Microsoft? I look at this. When I look at it taking out this level, I mean, there's room down to 275, which means those were gift prices a month ago.
I was looking at Microsoft. Remember, we were looking at Microsoft and Apple this morning. And as it's based on where it was trading earlier today, I said I didn't want to touch it because of the way it was moving. But Microsoft is now starting to get to an interesting spot, which is 283. We're at 283.24. I've got 283 marked off as a potential next leg to the downside if we can get going here a little bit as we get closer and closer, this opens the door for us to go to 280. So definitely Microsoft is going to be the candidate that I'm going to focus on. Apple was great yesterday, not so much today because of where it was trading. Of course, you can argue, hey, you know what, there was a trade there. Sure. But at the same time, Microsoft had the weaker name. If you're going to go for the short side, why are you going to go after the name that has relative strength? Apple is still up 0.7%. Versus Microsoft, which I believe is down 2%, no, 0.73%, 2% since the open, but 0.73% overall. So Microsoft relative weakness, and if we're going for the short side, why not work the weaker one, right?
I mean, we're rocking right now. I know you led that with Microsoft, and you guys know I love Microsoft. We actually talked about that on our sticky note here, that we were wanting to defend that 288 level. That came and went, and now we're looking at that 285. I don't even know what Microsoft's at right now, to be honest with you. But I'm looking at AMD, so we're going to go from, do we have tech on there? This is where I get in trouble from Fahad. Okay, yeah, tech and weakness. Okay, I'm in the right spot. Okay, so basically, it's like an inside joke between us. So, okay, here we go. Downside movement happening right now in AMD. So yeah, I mean, to say there's been tech weakness has been ridiculous, because last week we talked about this. We tasked Neil to find out, remember on Friday, how much we were down, and it was that 3.9% on the week last week. We started off yesterday, I believe it was down 1.8 or 2.1, something like that yesterday for the NASDAQ. So man, we don't pick on the week here, but AMD's been weak, and it's just been dropping. So look, the market right now, NASDAQ down 0.26, 10 times weaker almost. AMD down 2% and keeps on motoring. So yeah, I'm really, whoops, I don't need to draw a line there. I got to get rid of that. But I don't mean to, get out of this name, but we've just ticked down below. We're now testing 95. I'm $1.50 in the money on AMD. Feels ridiculous to have scalped all these out, but I'm pretty happy and pretty proud of myself to be still holding this. And I talk like that just because, honestly, it's like I'm learning every day with you guys here, and it's so true. Even though, I do have that 20 years experience, things like that, it's normally I just scalp, and then hit it with more shares. But now I'm kind of just adjusting my trading, understanding that right now we're in a completely different environment, right? The NASDAQ never used to move. Like I said, I just talked about how long we've been here, but you never used to get 2% moves every day like it was normal. Like the S&P 500 on average over the last 31 years averages 7.2% per year up, okay? With various discrepancies in between. We have, obviously there's wars, there's different things happening right now. We have inflation. We're basically working our way through right now 2 shock events. We have COVID, which is still happening, and now we have an event that none of us really thought would take this long to resolve. Unfortunately, the efforts in Ukraine and Russia. So right now, there's just too many things going against a lot of these high-flying stocks. And so this is not a great time to be in the market, period. Sure, there's pockets and swells where you could make some money, right? But there's not much that's working. We have healthcare, we have a bunch of different names. But to be sitting here right now and thinking that long is right, I don't feel that way. The market doesn't feel that way. So I feel like we need to hold on to some of this. And the tech weakness, as brought to you on the board, I think it's the right thing to do. And even though I love Microsoft at these levels, I love Apple. Remember about Apple here? I'm talking so I don't trade out of this AMD, because if I look at it, I'm probably going to get out of it. But the thing is that Apple, guys, went from 150, right? Hopefully that doesn't even have it on there. It went from 150, and I'll have it right here. Went from 150 on March 17th. This is actually where Pratt and I bought some. March 17th, I can't believe we actually got the low there. From 150 in a straight line, 13 straight days, Arun. 13 straight days up for Apple, right back to all-time highs in the same environment. Nothing changed. This was all during the war. Shanghai shutting down, China having issues, obviously, all throughout the country. The United States having problems. We're at I don't know if we're at record numbers. I mean, the reporting is not the same. But Ontario here, Canada. So I don't need to talk about this anymore because we all know. But what was that move up, right? And so, yeah, some of this is going to get faded back down. And when Apple falls, let alone it breaks this 150, then we'll have a huge problem. The weighting in the NASDAQ is greater than 10% for Apple. It's greater than 7%, or is it? I don't know if it's 7%, but it's getting up there.
For what?
The S&P. I thought it was between 4 and 5, but I think now with some of the valuations dropping down, it's gone up because it's held weight. So anyways, the point is, as these major tech names fall down, Neil, these markets could be in a hell of a lot more trouble than even we think. So I don't know if I'm going to be defending any longs, long story short.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one, especially we just hit lows and continuing through those lows of the day today. So the volatility is continuing. A weird one here. Well, not really that weird. We talked about the rebound in oil this morning. Oil futures, which of course are going to be closing pretty soon, up 7% on the session, back to that $100 a barrel mark. However, we look at the top that's being made on these and how strong they've been pretty much throughout the session. And I can't help but look at, Oxy's only up 3%. This was breaking out this morning. The breakout was pretty clean. It then came right back into 59. It made a fresh high, but has been falling off. So when you have a run, it's like you said about Apple, when you have a run that's so strong in an equity, sometimes any pop can be an excuse for it to come back in. But oil has been rebounding. There have been some positive headlines, I should say, coming out of the Ukraine. Although it keeps hitting the wire like every half an hour or so. It's like the U.S. cannot confirm the use of any chemical weapons. That rumor continues to be out there, and we know that could move the markets because that would be an escalation that could cause some chaos. But I feel some of the move in oil is related to the fear that things could be escalating once again in the Ukraine. Again, there's been no actual confirmation of chemical weapons being used, but that threat has oil at recent highs now, despite some of the oil stocks not really looking as strong as spot prices.
And that's the thing, too, is you get that news, you get the timing of it, which is crazy because look at what we're setting. Technically set up 92.5 into 92. That's the support base that I had drawn out since about mid-March or so, since we bounced off the 95 area. It makes sense. We consolidated around there. This is a consolidated chart with all the contracts kind of overlaid on top of each other, right? So we got that 92.5 to 92 even as your bounce point, and we got ever so closely in the last few days. Still in the support zone, but ever so closely to that 92 point. Even yesterday, we got as low as 92.93 on the futures contract. I believe we closed at 94 even, and then here we are at 101. The fact that we're up 7% on the day as crude is about to close in about 8 minutes or so, well, the majority of the volume will die off in the next 8 minutes or so. So you get that movement, you get that, oh, you know what, there might be chemical weapons, there's talk of something, some sort of a catalyst, gives you the right move to go bounce right off that support point. Now we're looking at the top end, which is going to be 110, north of 110 is going to have to be the area. North of 105 would probably open up the potential for shorts. But again, we're wedged in here in this little box here, and we're going to have to either play off the 95. That trade is gone. As of today, that trade is gone. Essentially, you've gone past 100, and now you've got to manage it. So there's no way you could be able to take that entry automatically if it were to come back in the next few days. So here we are now looking at 102, 105, all upside potential on crude, and it makes perfect sense. It's just crazy how well this works out with the news and the timing of the news. And you'll see that often when things get a catalyst right when they're sitting at an inflection point, right? And this is what you're seeing today. So 7% to the upside on crude. NASDAQ and S&P now down on the day after being as high as 2% up on the NASDAQ. We are now down 0.35% to the downside and heading south and not looking pretty because 14,000 is broken. We're now at 13,950. And we've got a lot of space to the downside left.
Yeah, your boy's still holding on to that AMD. I just want to talk quickly here because this is a name that I've been in. It's ZEO in Toronto, and I've talked all about this. It pays a sweet dividend. I'm in it from 53 right here. It's just been straight upside on this name. So as far as oil is concerned, I mean, I've been pumping these tires not long, and I cannot believe how it's reacted. So that ZEO is just because I had more cash in my Canadian account, in that Canadian account. So look at the XLE, almost the exact same thing. It's just a buyback here in early February where you had some of this consolidation at 67. What a great opportunity it was. And then obviously extended out just like what Arun was mentioning and Neil as well with the crisis obviously in Russia and Ukraine. So yeah, I think it's going to continue to make a move. Not just that. I mean, I think energy, forget about, we keep saying this, all about Russia, Ukraine. I mean, it's true. It's definitely weighing on the price of oil. But oil was already, I mean, here's the XLE right here. Yeah, get my face out of there. XLE, thanks, Vaughn. XLE was already working. I mean, oil, this goes back to November of 2020. Even if you just go back to a year from where we are right now, what month is this? April. So right there, 47 bucks a year ago. And it's even if you bought it a year ago, it never went against you. I mean, it ticked down a little bit here in the fall, but that's not against you. So if you got it from 47, if you bought it just a year ago, you're almost, you're about 80% in the money or so on that trade right there alone, with it never going against you. I mean, never out of here would have you gotten out, I don't think anyways. Maybe you got nervous into here, but XLE continues to work. I can call up any chart, XOM, Oxy, we know about Oxy, Berkshire taking spots there. So I think energy continues to work, and I say stay long and get longer. I'm waiting for a dip in XLE, but it's just not happening. So as soon as that does happen, though, your boy's putting more in. Good thing we live in Canada, though, because my Canadian portfolio is littered with bank and energy names. So that's a little bit thankful for that. But still, I like energy and I like it moving forward.
Yeah, I love that too. It's like one of those, you can't help but be overweight in the banks and energy around here if you own like any kind of ETF or fund. I hate to do it, but look. Headlines are coming through, and there was just another one here. So there was a photo published by the Ukrainian president of a Ukrainian politician, Viktor Medvedchuk, in handcuffs after an operation by Ukrainian security. The Kremlin has basically said they've seen the photo supposedly of him and can't say whether it's genuine. So you are getting this sort of like tit for tat going back and forth with futures at the lows and like we said, oil at the highs. Will that continue? Who knows? Things that are coming back down to earth. Veru. Veru was the story yesterday with tremendous volume. Tripling up at one point on the session. Came in today, it found a $15 triple high, and once it got through, and I think we all were saying like that $11 support level that it couldn't crack in the afternoon, even when it pulled back from 14. Well, it did get broken, and now we're sitting at $10. So that was the big level on the daily chart. You have to zoom way back to even see it. Looks like the rug got pulled here, although we're still at 10 bucks. It's a double up from yesterday in the morning. A few of the other names came back to earth pretty heavily, even the ones that were running this morning. So it does feel like the air has come out of some of these names, although volumes for a few still doing okay.
To get going, and this is the only trade I was looking for this morning, was that 15, getting above 15, because of the fact that we couldn't even get close to that 11 even bottom from yesterday afternoon. That I'm like, you know what, we have a chance. There seems to be some buying left here that could actually propel this higher. So let's get going to the upside if we can get north of 15. That's the only trade I was looking for. Obviously, never happened. And then you just get a straight sell off the open. And here we are, downside, breaking that afternoon low around 11. And now we're sitting at 10 even. We just cracked 10 even for the second time today. And does look like it wants to trend down. Keep in mind, this thing came from 650, call it. That was the high, if you were to take out the pre-market high, around 10:15 in the morning yesterday. And now here we are sitting at 10 bucks. So if you're going to look that far down, you still have another $3 to $3.50 to the downside in the event that this 10 can't even hold any sort of support. So we've been getting the selling that we needed on Veru to get to the downside. Now what does Veru do? I mean, as a trade, as an intraday trade, I mean, it's clearly slowed down as soon as we cross 10, right? Now you can make your arguments for either case, whether it's going to go back towards its highs or it's going to go back to 650. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because if you've already made your money on the move through 11, or even if you shorted this morning and you made your money through 10, at this point, you're just managing your trade anyway. So it really doesn't matter which direction it goes. Remember, as traders, we can just go for whichever one makes money. If you can go both ways. Remember, you can buy and you can short. You can go long, you can go short. So there's money to be made in both directions, and you shouldn't really commit to just one side if you have the ability to handle the risk of going short as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say congratulations to everybody, because we did talk about that Veru trade and then where you should maybe get out, what are some levels you should be looking at. So I think that was a good one. And look, we spend time on this show and we don't want to talk about politics or anything like that, but I just want to give all the warmest wishes and whatever to everybody there. There was that mass shooting in Brooklyn, and it just sucks, right, on the subway. So just prayers up to everybody there and to everybody's family. And we can sit here and talk about trading all we want, but realistically, it's these kind of world events that happen that that's really what means everything. So give your family a big hug, because honestly, it could have been me, it could have been Neil, you, any of us on there, innocent people every day don't deserve this. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that, and I hope that didn't offend anybody, but really I don't care. But that's that. So, yeah, Veru, good trading today. I just hope no one's stuck too long, and if you are, you still have an opportunity to get out. So there could be more news coming, but yeah, that's Veru, and that's that. So the market, though, is still puking to the downside, and we're holding some of these shorts, so we're pretty happy so far.
I wanted to get to mention Lulu. It was a story that came a little bit later in the morning, so it didn't quite make it to our watch list. But late in the morning, they launched their trade-in and resale program. As shoppers are grappling with inflation, so hey, it seemed like a pretty good idea. Customers able to exchange previously worn Lulu items for gift card at any of their stores, and the market was absolutely loving this news. And then, of course, we had that right-hand turn a little bit earlier. Lululemon, it made a $15 run breaking out this morning here, if we come to the charts quickly, and looked like it was well on its way to a breakout on the daily. Like, it was breaking this consolidation on the daily chart, absolutely screaming, and has made a hard right turn, up still 2% on the session. But this is a name which had all the feelings of looking like it was in the midst of a pretty good run, maybe heading towards that 400. And then when the market reversed, like everything else, it got crushed. So even things that were strong have not been able to hold up today. I don't know if this seems like a pretty, I don't want to say a bad sign, but I guess, yeah, a bad sign for the markets. It's something with this kind of a catalyst that was so strong, reversed pretty much everything.
You got it. I actually had an alert out for 390. 390. As soon as it crossed 390, the alert on Lulu went out. I'm like, oh, that looks odd. I'm not going to go on the long just yet because, like you mentioned, Neil, the daily looks pretty solid for a breakout towards 400, right? That 390 break. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe we can take a shot on the long side if we get a solid move above 390. You get that break up and then spin back around, and all it does from that point in time, since it put in that 390.76 high, is just sell. Straight sell after 390 broke. Stops probably went off too. I actually don't know what the level 2 on this one looks like, but here we are now at 376.70, bouncing off that 376, and this looks bad on the daily. If you were to now look at this and say, you know what, can we go long? Absolutely not. Not unless we can get back above 390 and stay above 390 and trade above 390 because of what we saw today. So now a failed breakout gives you a nice trade in the opposite direction as well. That's an option now that's been put on the table because of this type of move on a day like today. So here we are now thinking, hey, can 360 to 350 be done? Because Lulu, let's be fair, it clearly can it might get a chance to actually get to 360, but there's going to be a gap here between 360 to 350, and you got to figure out what's going to happen in that range. Can this actually hold or not? But for the time being, the shorts are going to be north of 380 towards that 390, and then shorts, maybe shorts again south of 350, depending on how it plays. But Lulu definitely not looking too good on the daily.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that story. The amount of money that we spend at Lululemon here, and I don't own anything from Lulu, so guess what it is? Yeah, I'm down for any of those programs. But look, I like the stock. I'm in Nike. Unfortunately, my charts really aren't loading up here. I don't know if there's a data problem, but at least it's a bright spot on the day. So I do have to investigate a little bit more about what that story was. I didn't even know about it until I'm just seeing it right now. So look, I think high quality products, I like Lululemon, but obviously as issues go with the supply chain and whatnot, that's going to continue for a stock like Lulu. So, we'll look at this tomorrow, but for right now, I'm having like some kind of a data issue. So I'm going to pass on that one, Neil.
Before we get into frustrating stocks, there's been a few, defense and industrial movers already. Pentagon, across the wire here, Pentagon inviting top 8 arms makers to a Wednesday meeting to discuss weapons for Ukraine. I'm just sort of looking at stories on this vertical aerospace, their shares are moving right now as we speak, EVTL, and it looks like, there was initiation of coverage by Deutsche Bank, giving them essentially a $9 price target. They were previous SPAC. Not really, they have backing from Microsoft, American Airlines. I'm not seeing specific news for them. There was a halt earlier for an information request when it spiked in the morning. I've not seen anything really across the wires. It came all the way back to $9 and now back into 11. So on the move on volume once again. It looks like there's nothing terribly specific here, but it has been on the move and it's in the right sector, showing some strength there for this industrial name. But there's been so much movement today, and we had this kind of volatility. You know there's going to be some frustration out there, whether you got a winner that you didn't hold on to, or whether you got a trade that you missed, or just one that was an absolute bum. Let's get some of those frustrating stocks for today.
All right, I'll start.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so my frustrating stock today is just going to be NEO, and it's funny because like I made a lot of money back today, but I didn't make as much as I lost yesterday. So that's really my frustration. Was I should have had more conviction about this 20 level than I really did have yesterday. And maybe I can find the trades. Hopefully they're here. No, they're not. So this is why I'm frustrated, and this is what I need to do better at. Yesterday I was short all into this rip, and it wasn't very fun. And then yesterday in the afternoon we just shorted this 20 level all afternoon and made we made a decent amount back, but still left 70% or whatever. We only made back 30% of what we lost on this rip up down there on the short side. And then today, when we had the bias to go short on the NASDAQ, I should have said, okay, we're at that key $20 level again for NEO. And look, I made money on it. I mean, let's not, I'm not trying to say that. We did have real nice. We had 3 trades here, all pretty decent amount of share sizes. We were willing to give it, I don't know, probably not up to here, but definitely giving it some room. And then it just collapsed down to the point where I'm still holding this trade. So, it's a good trade for me, short 20s. A lot of the outs here in the 50s. The majority of them out here near some of these pre-market levels from yesterday. Sorry, not pre-market levels, but yesterday's closing levels here, about 1980, 1970. But then it just collapsed down. So I'm only really frustrated because, again, didn't wind up making as much money today on what I consider to be a good call on this short. And we're just taking a piece out right now as well. I still think we can hold for lower, so that's what we're doing. But again, frustrating to me because it just wasn't properly managed. I should have had a similar amount of risk on both days. Didn't have that. And so, again, I'm just frustrated with my own conviction and how I managed the trade on the second day.
Yeah, for me, it's because of my equity list is not that high. I have four names, and one of them I'm still in. So I don't really have that many names to choose from. AMD, AMAT worked out well. Walmart, I'm still holding it. And the only other one I can really lean towards because of what I'm doing on the futures is Shop. Shop just ran me over. It got me in and then decided, nope, real quick, and decided to turn and got me run over. It was a very, very quick trade. This is going to be ugly on the chart when you look at it. That's the chart. And that's my 640 long getting out fairly quickly. As soon as I got filled, within 2 minutes, I'm out with a $5 hit on Shop. So that was the trade that kind of got me real quick. So apart from, regardless of everything I'm doing on all the other names, this is the one that stands out because it is actually the only loser that I've banked. Walmart's obviously floating in the loss right now. But Shop is going to be the $5 hit, and because of the way it's set up, and that's why it's frustrating because Shop actually set up in a solid way to that 640. If you get through there, where is it? Right there. Let me zoom it in. If you get through that 640, which is the high, which it doesn't look as good now, but if you get through that top end, you have a chance towards 660, and that's what I was trying to play. Maybe if I put on the 60, it looks a little bit different. Yeah, so if you get through that 640, you have a chance towards that 660 as the next resistance level, and that's what I was looking to play. $5 risk for a $20 gain, 4-to-1 payout if I'm right. Clearly, that did a quick spin, and we did not cash out. But hey, we are making money on the futures. We'll talk about it when we get to it. We're still floating in that Walmart relative strength long. So yes, it's 44 cents out, but as long as we get a bounce in the futures, Walmart should pick up some strength, and we're actually going to talk about Walmart a little bit more as we get on in a bit in the show.
Shh, don't give away all the secrets there, Arun. I'll throw one in there. I didn't actually make a trade. I'm not going to use Veru because I actually talked about that turning around there, and probably should still be trying to hold a short. But Affirm, we mentioned yesterday in the afternoon show that there was takeover chatter, and then this morning clarified that a single blog that I'd never heard of until this morning, when I checked it out, was reporting that there was takeover chatter on Affirm, and that's why it was relatively strong. This morning, it broke. Got to 40 right as the market was making that top and that big turn at about 10 o'clock. It puts a wick off top through $40 even. I mean, that's pretty much looking a gift horse right in the mouth here on a stock like Affirm that's been beaten up as much as it has over the last few months. It gives you 40. You see the pullback. There were multiple times on the way down where it does sort of stair step and reverse. You're sitting on the lows of the day in a market reversal. And it's only because when we get a reversal in the market, I'm usually looking at this stock anyways to see if there's a level to be shorted off of. But that's what it'll be for me. Just not going to the well and saying, hey, Affirm, at the highs, breaking out or trying to break out at such a key and obvious price area and then falling back into the downside there. There still have been like a few headlines coming through in the market, guys, but I'll keep the ear to the ground. If anything really concrete comes through, we'll keep letting you know. But you get so many of these coming through about Ukraine, and they're a little bit tit for tat. We're still hanging out on these lows. That EVTL starting to pull off a little bit here, but overall, this market still looks like it's pretty weak.
All right. Yeah, good review, guys, there. I think those are a good mix of the different frustrations. What symbol is that on your shirt there, by the way?
Take a guess. I'll let you guys know later in a bit.
I have no idea.
But Neil being the comic book nerd, he should know this.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
He should know this.
No, he's going to look it up. I can see his face. He does not know it.
Look here. You know what the problem is? I'm having one of those brain fart moments when you're on live TV and it's like, yeah, I've seen that like a million times and I have no idea why it can't even come to my mind. I'm having the same chart issue as you, Sean. I'm trying to work through it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Doctor Strange got it right. First guy to get it right. It is Nightwing.
Nightwing. Okay,
yeah.
Nightwing. Okay, so there you go. So, yeah, cool shirt, man. All right, so yeah, let's just start talking about some trades here that we have on that maybe we haven't discussed too much. So AMC. I mean, yeah, let's flush myself down the toilet for AMC because I thought it was going to be a long day today, and we have some nice longs. I mean, the first started off bad, long into 18 mids. That didn't work out. Got crushed. I mean, look at AMC down 7% today. Yuck, man. Back down to 17. Just like you guys, I didn't think that AMC was going to suffer this kind of a fate over the last couple of days, breaking through 20 and now coming back down to some of these lows. We did have a low of, what was it? Let me just double check this before I say something that's going to be incorrect here. I was going to say 12, but it looks like it's 13. Yeah, so 13 there on the bottom, the last little bit. But what a great run up that was. Can you imagine this stock went from $13 to $34 in about a week and a half? And then it's basically just made a complete an utter turn on a dime here and taking out that 50 period. So I was not expecting that. And again, you know, having the ability to go both ways here at Day Trade, the world is fantastic. So we had that. We switched it up to the shorts. So we lost a decent amount of, we didn't lose a decent amount of money, but we lost some money trying to pick these longs. We kept defending that bottom of 1760. So just so I don't get like, you know, these hate tweets at me, which I'll probably get now anyways, that I am no ape. You shouldn't be selling this. And look, I trade price action, but there's that 1760 rate here that came in. And that's what I was trying to defend right there, that bottom over a couple days ago. That didn't happen. As soon as that broke, I went into Nightwing mode and then just said, you know what? I'm only going to hit the shorts because we're below that on that daily that I liked. So there it is. Well, it wasn't a daily, but that day break level of 1760. Only decided to go short. Now we're sitting in a nice 18-cent winner, and we have, it doesn't look super clean, but we did have some 35s out there. This is the position I have on right now. So averaged in, I don't know, I think that must have been a keystroke, but we got in there, back down in, and we've just been holding this trade, thinking that there's lower lows coming. And if you guessed it, I put a line right there. That's going to be my out 1760. So if we do get back up there and take down that level, then I'm going to be out of AMC. But right now we're trying to work this short here. We've been working it. I mean, these are a bunch of outs. I only have on now a third, maybe a little bit less than that, 27, 28% or so of this position initially here. So averaged in, that's not a great price, but taking it out there, taking it in there, averaged it back. So right now we're working with fire, hopefully, on AMC, and we'll see if we get below that 1740. We just got to hold below, man. That's right where the 50 period is. So if we can hold below that 50 period, I think we're going to be good to go. Looking at 1730 as my target. What's up, Ms. V?
So markets turned negative, Bitcoin broke 40,000 to the downside, and I'm here to remind you to like this video. We have 3,000 people watching. Would really appreciate your support. I remind you today is the first day I went on a live account. I was trading Veru, and guys, if you're glad about this, you want to support me, I would also appreciate if you smash the like button.
All right.
Yeah, smash it.
Yeah, so we'll talk. Obviously, you guys see me, my one position it shows on the screen, but the one that really matters isn't on the screen. Walmart, long, 154.12, fine. We're at 64 cents, we're holding, great.
Out or up?
Out. So
okay,
out
okay.
64 cents, it's a relative strength long, that's fine. But the big one, if for anyone who's watching from this morning, the futures, this is where I play. So as we were rallying from the CPI, I said I was going to work averages in between 35 all the way up to 65. 65 kind of cracked, but we never got out because there was no strength there. So you see entry 1, entry 2, entry 3, and then it went to 30 again. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe the risk is too high for putting in. At that point, I have 45.25 as the average price with those 3 entries. So I'm like, you know what? Let's actually get it out, take away 2 points, and then see what this market's going to bring. Either let's get a fill north of 55 into 60, or we get a break of 30, and there goes 30, guys. So sitting, as I've cashed some out, I've got the rest, sitting in a 35-point winner on the futures, and I don't know if this market's done yet. So we're just going to trail this one out, and that's the one that really matters to me because that's where I put the majority of my risk, right? So if I'm light on the equity side, it's probably because I'm pretty heavy on the futures side. So we're sitting in a 30-point winner now. As the market comes back a little bit, and I'm just trailing this one out. We've already cashed some. We're going to let the rest of it go and see how much this market's got left. Hey, 85, no, not even 85. 82 is the low from 340. 82 quarters the low from 340 this morning. And if we can get through 90, we have a real good chance of taking a look at that. But of course, 230, 245 bounces. We've gone aggressive. So we're going to get some bounces, of course, as people need to cash out, right? But at the same time, I'm trailing this one and I'm not close by. So we're going to let this one move around, and we've taken what we needed to take, but the rest of it is going to be ridden right into the close, 4:15 if necessary, because that's when they close.
So after the big run that the market had been on, we had that big tear off of the lows. We've had a little bit of a pullback here. The question is, what is next? We're going to try to give you three names that are the next stocks to go, the reason we like them, and what is the catalyst for them. So right off the bat, this is about some tips to pick up something which can be on the move very, very shortly because, hey, like they say, sell in May and go away. So what is going to be hot in April? Let's get it started.
All right. Yeah, good little throw there. So remember, this is like we're trying to look for stocks that can explode, right? I mean, you know, they have to have some catalysts behind them. And unfortunately, right now, we've seen what's happened with this market. I'm going to pick a name that's directly in the fire of everything right now because, again, this is the chance to explode. So I've got a name here that's at its pretty much at its all-time lows. And I think, you know, it's going to be in the right space here. I don't know about exploding for April or anything like that, but I do think that later on, especially as we get to the end of this year, we get through some of these interest rate hikes and the market can settle down. I believe that, get ready for it, Rivian is a name that could get back up to the upside here. So look, Rivian's been beat down. We've talked about that. It's right near its bottoms. It actually, as you guys know on the show, I prefer to short Rivian rather than anything else. But when you're looking for relative return, not much has changed here over the last month or two as far as Rivian is concerned. We sort of already know what the Fed's going to do, and they're not making any money. They've changed their pricing a little bit, and I'm going to get over some of the catalysts, but just look where we were. We've already been down here to 35 bucks before, and we ripped all the way to 55. So just in 1.5 weeks there on Rivian, off of these exact levels that we have right now, Rivian went from 35 bucks on a NASDAQ rebound all the way to $55. So you got 20 bucks on 35 in a week and a half. That return is fantastic, right? You're looking at 40, 50% right there, and I think we can extend that. The NASDAQ stopped and now is curling back down. So listen to this. Look. They're going to right now work on building. They had some problems in Georgia. They now have the state taking that over. They're looking to make and build their assembly battery and R1T truck plant in Atlanta, Georgia. They also have ideas of putting their new plant in Europe. But what does this mean? Capital, right? So they're going to get that. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do another share offering. We do know that Amazon owns 20% of these guys, and Amazon's already committed 100,000 vans to their fleet once ready from Rivian. The problem is right now, Rivian's only producing maximums, what they've told us, 25,000 units right now per year. So if they can get these other plants going on, I think that's a good catalyst for Rivian to the upside, okay? That's the first thing. The other thing is this R1T truck is pretty hot. It's been getting great reviews. And look, if they can get that on the market, there's really no competition right now for electric trucks. We saw the Cybertruck, although pretty cool. That doesn't seem to be focused right now by Tesla. I don't hear too much about it. They're building these trucks. Can Rivian be, and I know the Ford F-150 is going to be smoking, and that's awesome, but there's room for other trucks to win in this market. So I look at that R1T, okay? Also, George Soros, okay? 20 million shares as of his filing, as of December 31st. Out or still in, but when you get big investors, and also CalPERS as well, the largest pension fund in the United States, also has a stake in Rivian. So I feel like the due diligence has hopefully been done by some of these investors. So let's see, maybe we're getting Rivian at a pretty good discount rate here. And I don't know, like, don't us for some of these calls. I'm thinking that this is not going to be a call in the next couple weeks, but it could start to go. If the NASDAQ turns around, we have a lot of opportunity, in my opinion, in Rivian. They also have over 71,000 orders for the pre-order, which is just a $1,000 deposit. But I don't know. I think those trucks are pretty cool. I think they can get going. And again, if you're looking for relative return, I don't think this is going to zero, and you can get it. I mean, I don't know if you buy it now, you buy in the next couple weeks, but you're at these levels. We've already seen a great retracement back here to the 50 period. If you just simply get one more move back up, I think you'll be thanking me for this Rivian call.
All right, for me, I'm going to go with one of the names I'm carrying, Walmart. The reason being, and I'm going entirely based on technicals. If we're going to play relative strength, we're seeing it in Walmart today, and I want to see if this looks like a pretty good breakout, I would say. Like, you know, consolidation sideways a little bit, and then we're breaking out north of 154. This is the weekly on Walmart. Forget about April. This is going to be one of those plays where if you're going to take a shot on a breakout long, this is the type of chart you want to play on. So if we're playing off a weekly 154 break even, and now we're coming back in a little bit with relative strength as Walmart's holding up well. Walmart is starting to lose it a little bit now, but again, it's been holding up well with the market that's been falling apart in the last little bit. You're going to come back into support points into the 151s, 150s. There should be a decent amount of volume that should support this market around 150 on Walmart. I think if it gets through 145, you call it a day, you walk away from it. It's a failed breakout, at which point, yeah, Walmart's in trouble because of the failed breakout. But at the same time, if you're looking for new longs and you're trying to find these breakout longs, why not something that's been waiting for a breakout for weeks on end? The top was initially put in November of 2020. Tried it again in August of 21, and then November of 21. And then we're finally getting past all of that. And now we're coming back in a little bit. I think this is a great opportunity to go long in on Walmart around these low 150s with a 145 stop.
We promised you 3, so I'll give you the last one here. And I'm going to tell you it's 31 billion in sales on an 81 billion market cap. It's got single-digit PE. It is under 6 on its forward PE. And while the rest of its sector is getting shellacked today, it is actually slightly green. But like Sean, I'm picking one which has been depressed. Micron, people. Micron is down at $72. It was just up in the high 90s after what was a good earnings report and great fundamentals. If everybody is scared about inflation and everybody believes the chip sector eventually is going to be the place to be, so when everyone is afraid, pick up a name on value. It is incredibly cheap. And while everyone is afraid of that R word, this is one that I think can work because obviously you don't get that kind of a cheap valuation very often. I love Micron here. We promised you 3. Sean going out there with Rivian, and I love the fact that you're willing to take something where you're getting that chance. The upside tremendous there. Walmart, great name. And of course from Arun there, great technical analysis. And then we'll go with one on pure valuation with Micron. So there you are, 3 names that could be booming very, very soon. All right, guys, and from there, we go right back into these markets. Oil, by the way, pulled back a full $1. I've been sort of tracking that as we've gotten to and past the close. A lot of times oil futures do slow down in volume, but they are pulling back rather heavily. And this market not going anywhere, but, well, I mean, it's bouncing a little bit here, but still under the 1,400 overall on the NASDAQ. And this EVTL, hopefully this will actually work on the charts because this is the runner this afternoon. I don't know if my charts want to move. Come on, give it to me. There we go. Back up and testing to the high of the day. So it just did this a couple of minutes ago, testing to the high of the day and then falling back. It's set up for a potential 12 even break. I still don't see any specific news on EVTL, but it did halt earlier on in the session and looks like it is the possible runner for this afternoon.
Yes, sir. Yeah, great talk there on some of the stocks. So I just want to make everything clear here. You know, we're doing these videos obviously to put them out. But the thing is that, you know, what we're looking for here when we're making these assumptions, because some people are saying, oh, Micron's not cheap, oh, Rivian's not cheap, and blah, you know, we're trying to you know, build out some cases here for stocks that have a big opportunity to move, right? I mean, I like Palantir, I like AMD, I like Microsoft, all these, but you know, to sit here and maybe say, oh, I think Facebook's going to go up. I mean, I'm just trying to give you guys something where, like, you're not going to get 50% return in a week and a half like you did there on Rivian in Microsoft or anything like that. So we're trying to make plays that on a bounce could give you the return that you're looking for. And at the same time, I heard somebody say there on the chat, they said, oh yeah, and Rivian could also be like Nikola. Yeah, it could be. And that's what I'm saying where, and it's funny also, apparently we had some problems on the stream as soon as I mentioned George Soros. So hey, if you're watching, George, what's up? Good name, the same name as my father. But again, you know, look, I'm going to assume that people have done their due diligence on some of these plays, and I advise you do the same thing. There's no way I would put, I'm not even in Rivian. I might going to look at it after this. But I think Rivian in the electric space is good. I do prefer Fisker, but with some of those stats that I was talking about there, if they can get production working and you know, on the upside there, just like your Walmart with food prices and things like that, there's a hell of a lot of opportunity in a lot of spaces. I mean, right now, it's kind of like throwing shade. I mean, we could have picked a lot of names. There's so many names that are near or at 52-week lows that if you do get a market bounce, you know, I should have just said short the NASDAQ or something, maybe get a good return there, and it might have been better received. But there it is. I like that topic. I think we should do more of that. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey, Sean, we've got a super chat from Steve Tatarus. One share of Veru for Miss V. Congratulations on going live today. Thank you so much, Steve. And actually, when you sent that super chat, Veru was right at 10:15. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I recently got out, made around 40 cents per share. But anyways, profitable first live day. So thank you for your support, guys.
Shout out to Ms. V for being profitable on the first day. That's very hard to do because I remember my first day was not positive, and it's way too easy to lose money, especially when you've got that, you know, not just anxiety, but also like a lot of things running through your head. You're like, all of a sudden, every keystroke matters that much more, right? You're like, it's not really that different from when you're moving from sim to live, and all of a sudden you're just in your head a lot more. So shout out to Ms. V for being positive on our first day. Yeah,
big shout out. I've told, you know, I'm not rolling my eyes at it. I just, you know, I told Ms. V I want to see her in some Tesla. So hopefully tomorrow she'll be in there. But she's managing her risk. Great trade. And the thing is, you're right. One trade, like that's all you need. You know, if you need that one trade and you get it, that's great. Like I wish, you know, sometimes you hold on to something that works for you a little bit longer. Great trade, Ms. V, on VERU. And thanks for the super chat. It means a hell of a lot. Yeah, what's up to Super SPAC Man there? Yeah. There, the price target on Rivian, he goes, Rivian might be a good buy, but it's not going back to 180. Yeah, that's for sure. It's not going back to 180 anytime soon. What my call was, I thought that maybe we could get back to the 50-period moving average, which is $50. So if you can get a 38 back to 50, $12 on 38, you put that 35% in your pocket and you move on. Maybe you hold a little bit, and if you're lucky, you get back to 70. So that's just what I think about Rivian. But again, if this market keeps puking, man, money's coming out of all of these names. So it's going to be hard to make a call one way or the other. But hey, guys, thanks a lot for all of that. You know, a name that I also like, I almost used it, and I don't think, I mean, you know, I could have chose a lot of names, but Uber's just been hit a lot in the last little while as well, coming to the downside. We talked about Uber Freight. I really like Uber Freight. I think there's some good opportunities there. And despite it being hit, I mean, I'm talking about it being from 45 down here in January, back down to where it is 31. That's still a big time move down. That's 30% down. You could easily get a nice bump up. I really think, and again, you know, I'm willing to talk about this as well. I think there's going to be a good earnings season because honestly, a lot of what's happening right now are macro issues that aren't related to specific companies. Like, I don't think any companies have really warned about anything here moving forward. That could happen now moving forward, which would be horrendous. But honestly, some of these companies are still producing okay. I mean, you back out the cash of Google or Facebook, these are value companies, man. I mean, they make a lot of money and they've been hit a lot. Like, just look at Google. Google also has the fact that they are splitting. So you also have that driver here. On that split news, man, we went up to 3,000 there. They had, not just that, their earnings report was phenomenal, Google's, right? And so I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was absolutely unreal. And you got the news of the split. And now you're right back to where you were pre that earnings call. So, I mean, I just think that there's a lot of opportunity to take advantage of some of these names right here. And I mean, again, like, will Google be at 2,500 when they report in a couple weeks? They could be at 2,300. I don't know, but I don't think that's going to hurt. Whatever their price is what it's at. You have to look at companies as a whole. I think there's a lot of businesses out there are working, not just in the oil patches, but definitely Google, Amazon, I feel like is working as well. I feel like Apple is working, but you have the backdrop of Shanghai, COVID, and so on and so forth. If we can somehow get over that hump, and I don't know if that's going to even be possible, then I'm pretty bullish about the market in overall. I don't know if we're going to get a bullish print this year, but if we can sort of just hold the line, man, I think there's a lot of nice companies out there that are well undervalued at current levels. My opinion. Don't throw me to the wolves. What's up, Neil?
Yeah, well, I agree on Alphabet like 1,000%. Like, if you're going to pick one, like that, they're a good valuation here and relatively cheap, I should say. There was news earlier this morning, just before we came on. Actually, I know covered in the midday show that Digital World Acquisition gained on a Fox report that a report that Fox had joined Truth Social, and just want to point out that it's already broken back below VWAP. There was a failure at 50, but you are seeing it now barcode with 47 support, which is only interesting because when the news broke, that's exactly the level that held. So we've seen this story before where you get a level off after the initial spike, and if it does hold, sometimes you can catch a late day rally. And I'm going to keep coming back to this. The tighter this wedge gets on EVTL, you can see up at $12. It keeps on putting higher lows all the way through, looking like it might take out this $12 range. It has already halted once. The volume is just as high as it was post-halt earlier on this EVTL, only up 55%. Shouldn't say only, but up 55% and still threatening this high of the day.
All right, we'll just update some of my positions.
We just looked at each other and was like, wow, we can't. I mean, this market's still falling down. AMD new lows. Yeah. Let's update your futures.
Yeah, futures. So this morning, well, actually, I want to talk about this first. Somebody was asking what indicators do we use. I don't use anything. I mean, I have volume at the bottom. I hardly pay attention to it. Mostly it's just what the chart looks like and what I'm seeing through the level 2 and what the time of sales is. So a lot of it is not really indicator based, right? I mean, I guess it's an indicator. I don't know. It's time of sales, volume, and then what the chart kind of structure looks like. So for me, you're not going to see a whole lot of indicators. My charts are fairly clean, apart from these lines that I draw for horizontal lines for support resistance levels. So here we are kind of just working that short inside that zone. And to answer Annika's question, am I still short? The answer is yes. I've been cashing in as we went down, got some out at the 10s, and now here we are putting in 93.50 on the futures, and you can't even see it on that screen, but here we are putting in 93.50, and that's a 35-point winner and still moving, and I have no desire to get out because now it's just being trailed out. My trail is now sitting north of 10 into the 15 area, and I have no reason to get out as we are 10 points from putting in a new low. And if we get a shot at those 80s, you know stops are going to open up with 82.25 being the low or 82.75 being the low. So here we are approaching 90. We get a shot at 80. You know this market is opening up with some stops. So I have no reason to rush the exits. I've been working the shorts all morning. So why would I then get out as it's going in the money, right? So we're going to be patient, just like we do with the rest of our trades. We're going to be patient. We're going to cash out where we need to, but at the same time, manage this properly because it is accelerating to the downside, and this is what you want to see in the final hour of the day if you're short. If you're long, you definitely don't want to see this.
No, man, and we are accelerating right now, so let's spin it for all these trades. AMD is now $2 in the money clean, and we should have reloaded it, to be honest with you. We're too busy doing that other stuff there, but NEO, 50 cents in the money and making moves. AMC now down back to its low of the day. So, yeah, man, we're making some money moves right now. And look, I like the fact that, I mean, look, it's great for the algorithm, and you even mentioned that right here yourself, Brian. But you gave us a dislike, so that's fine. I'm down with that. And
why? Because they're short? Is that why?
I don't know why it is, but if it's because of the picks that we made, I'm going to give Brian an opportunity right now to let me know or let our viewers know what stock you think is a good buy now. So let's do that now, and then we'll see what you have to say. And again, this is not, I'm just wanting to see, like, people that don't like Google or don't like Rivian or Walmart or whatever it is, Micron. I just want to see what names, because again, it wasn't about like what names would we short. It was like, if given the opportunity to buy something that could explode, I just want to know what Brian's would be. And again, just out of interest sake, nothing to do with the fact that, I mean, it was because you said dislike. I'm just interested in what name you would be looking at. So let's go have a quick look at that and see what it is. So Brian Sprague, it's on you right now, and I welcome that just to see what it is, because let's have a look. And all of you guys can put it in there, whatever you want. I mean, yeah, let's say SoFi, right? I mean, I like SoFi this year. I've talked about that. I think they got their bank charter. But then Joe Biden came out and talked about no loan repayments for student loans, and that's not a priority for the administration, and he's extending the loan forgiveness and so on and so forth. And then down goes SoFi, right? I mean, we can sit there and look at SoFi's numbers and talk about what their PE is, doesn't have one, to the downside, right? And so, again, every day these names, until the market turns around, man, this is going to be like, like, I like Palantir. I think data is king, right? But right now, if you're not making any money, even a name like Snowflake starting to head down to the downside, I mean, there's really no protection. The NASDAQ is getting crushed right now. I love AMD. You know, but here I am short $2 in the money. So, I mean, what does that mean? All of a sudden now, like, I'm not pro AMD. I love this name. But it's getting hit, and we trade price action on this show. So, and we also do other ideas, like you mentioned there, holding on for quite a while. NVIDIA, wow. Okay, so if NVIDIA, I mean, AMD's already cracked, but if NVIDIA doesn't hold these bottoms that they put in here of 200, then I don't even know what to say. I'm going to zoom this out just to show you, because we do have this pre-split number here adjusted. That was 740. This is the number that I'm really worried about. It reverse split down here to 188, 190. I feel like if we don't hold these bottoms, man, then look out below. Like, even I've even been buying SMH right now, and that's getting hit as well. So NVIDIA pre-split, obviously motoring. Like, look at what it did, man. It went from 560 in May up to 840 in July. So May, June, July, we went up from 540 to 840. Could it do it again? Of course it could do it again. You could get a 20% move quickly here in NVIDIA. I mean, you already have 3% today. So just watch out. There's a lot of names that are tipsy-turvy here. But, you know, this is the power hour. So let's look to get into some trades right now. Apple. If I could tell you if Apple was green or red on the day, what would you think?
Green. Because I looked at it.
Yeah, you looked at it, so you know we talked about this. But anyway, that's the wrong guy to ask. But, you know, I guess a lot of us probably wouldn't have realized that. Apple's still green on the day. I'm going to be looking for this one for the next shoe to fall here. I'm going to be looking for some levels to get short here in AAPL. Neil, what's up?
Yeah, just very quickly. Obviously, you guys know the market's breaking to the lows. We haven't mentioned Tesla once. It's very close to turning red. It just broke a key level, 980. This broke out. So this is, we'll call it the CPI number. 980, because that's where we broke out from this morning. We just took out that level to the downside. So Tesla, among the other names, which has given a lot back, down $40 from the highs. I was just talking to Ms. V. Man, those higher lows, or those lower highs that got put in at 105, 106, off of that initial stop after the number came out, right at 1,006. And then that is your afternoon high, and now fresh lows for even Tesla.
Yeah, as the market takes off to the downside, it's going to be a rough ride. The final hour, oh boy, this close is going to be hot, given how it's moving now. So I'm looking at the NASDAQ, and the only ones that are positive at the top of the board that have real weight, Apple up 0.71, Tesla still up 0.39, And AVGO, Broadcom up 0.55. Everything else is down. Like Nvidia is down 2.6%. Adobe down 2%. Nuts. And then S&P 500, all of them are negative. So that's the kind of movement you're getting, and it's going to be a crazy. Oh, here we go. As we approach the lows, the overnight lows, and it's not even going to be about the 82s. It's going to be about the 80s, right? Because the 80s are what's going to matter, right? What's going to matter at this point because of how close we are to the 80 level. Round numbers bring stops, and as we get closer and closer, this market accelerates. I'm 3 points away from a 50-point winner on the futures position here. We're just going to ride this one out. I might actually start adding into this one as we get going too, because I have new locations where I can put some stops in. So maybe some more ads might come in play south of 43.80, but we are sitting in a 47-point winner with no reason to exit as we get closer and closer to that 43.80. I do want to point one thing out though. Obviously, when people are watching the show, they have a heavy bias that they only want to go long, but don't be afraid to short. If you don't want to do outright shorts, there's money to be made on the downside. Obviously, that comes with risk. And if you don't feel comfortable going on the outright short and carrying, obviously, overnight, the cost of carrying a short overnight and whatnot, you can also just go into the SDS or the SQQ, which are inverse ETFs, opposing direction. So you just buy them. If you think the market's going down, SDS. If you think the S&P 500 is going down, buy up the SDS. If you think the NASDAQ is going to go down, buy up the SQQ. They are 2 and 3 times leveraged. So SQQ is 3 times leveraged, I believe, and then SDS is 2 times leveraged. So you are going to get leverage on them. But at the same time, you're playing the inverse direction. So you're not like just sitting there and waiting going, oh man, when's the next time to buy? You can make money. Don't waste your time. If you see a REIT to go short, why not play in the indexes and the inverse indexes to make that money while you're still waiting for the longs?
So we'll go like that. I don't know if you guys noticed. I don't want to interrupt Arun, but we took about 2 minutes ago. We took that Apple short. I mean, I said it's power hour. Let's go short. We called Apple. We went short. We just took 30 cents right there. So we'll take out. Honestly, I took out half there for 30 cents. Like this is the difference in the trading style of Arun and I. Put on the shares, take the profit. Let's see if it can continue to go to the downside right now. So I'm looking at that, plus an average in coming up right now in Apple if it does go back up near this 50-period mark, and then we'll see about if it wants to go back upside. Look, if this market takes off, I understand that I'm shorting, the strongest name. But again, I just feel like it can give up the ghost even more here. We take a quick little profit there on Apple out of half, and now we'll see about a retracement back to the upside, and I'll deal with it if and when that does happen. Yeah, you're talking about adding to your positions. Like this is now $2 plus in the money on AMD. Like what a smoke show it's been today for me on AMD. Just straight to the downside, like just bleeding and still going down. So like I'm really super thrilled with the way this is moving. I know Arun's got that big winner. Congratulations on the futures, but we got a big winner here on AMD as well on the equity side of things. NEO's been bleeding to the downside as well, as that's now taking down its day low. Like not taking it, I mean, its day low is off the open, but taking down lows right here as well. So hopefully you're sort of on the same side as us as we continue to look for more opportunity. And this is, again, fully admitted, it's hard for me to say like right now I like NEO short because I'm already in the short and sitting on 55 cents. So it's like, I don't know about averaging in, and it's just the same way, or averaging up, I guess, into this trade. It's kind of like what Arun's saying, like looking for key levels now because we already, even though you already have the short, you could still put on more short. It has to hit levels, and if you get to that, then boom, and that's what we're looking for. So on that note, I don't know, maybe shorting Apple is not the right idea. Maybe I should just be shorting something that's even weaker on the day. So I'm looking here, TDOC is actually up today, okay. AMD, we just talked about Uber as well, NVIDIA, I don't wanna be in the same sector. Bank of America down today. Let's look at JP Morgan maybe, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow morning before open, JP Morgan comes through, but we didn't talk about that. It's supposed to be the 13th. Like it wasn't on our earnings board earlier today, so I don't know. And I forgot to bring that up, but I'm pretty sure it is the 13th, JP Morgan. But it could be the 14th. So here it is, a nice move to the downside, down that 1.61%. This might be something here heading into earnings. And again, we'll wait for that that clarification. I think Ms. V is looking right now. But there it is. We could, again, get into this pocket 129, which would be a nice little move back into the downside here. So JP Morgan today, nice little move to the downside. WFC's been the strongest bank, so I don't know if we want to short the strongest name here, but you could see today WFC actually down more than JP Morgan. So this might be something to look at as well. Again, more tension in Russia, not good. We know about the financial system over there being basically broken with sanctions. And right now that I look at this, you're taking down this 48 level right now. So there's been some support there, but WFC also maybe looking like a nice little short. But again, everything is down so far. Like, look at this minute chart here. Like, to short this at 48, everything is falling apart. What's up, Neil?
Well, I just wanted to confirm, JP Morgan does report tomorrow before the bell there. I hope so, because we've sort of been mentioning it. If it missed our board, for sure, JP Morgan is reporting before the bell. They are the first of the big banks to come through, and we get 4 more coming on Thursday. But yeah, you're right about that, JP Morgan before the bell. Their earnings call also tends to be while we're actually actively trading it or looking to actively trade it. A bit of a, like you already talked about the rug pull in the markets, guys, just 2 more. That EVTL rug pulled off at 12, so it could not break at 12 even. The other name, which, and again, I was we talked about this in our rundown, starting to come off and looking like it was going to give up the ghost. Veru just broke the low of the day as well, so it's now making some fresh lows down. Now 21%, so as fast as it went upside, it's still up from yesterday in the morning, but these names starting to get cracked into the close.
Yeah, and that's I just mentioned to Justin right now because he was asking me about where to get out, and I said 1350. Well, I didn't say 1350. I said try to get out, and he got out 1350 on VERU, and you can see where that's going. Okay, no real targets for this AMD trade. I was just looking at it, and I was like debating like just to get out, but then if I get out, I can't get it back. So that's something that I'm feeling about holding right now. We can look at a daily chart here for AMD. I mean, there's no levels. I'm not going to go back. Like, there's only so far that you're going to go back. This is a 20-minute chart, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. The daily doesn't work for us on AMD very far back because we have we have that print there. So let's just zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's going to get to $91 here today, but that's really the next spot. We do have a top rate there, 95.75, that we've already broken. So really the next level for me would be right down here, which is 92.50 for AMD. But again, we have the short now. We've been short all day, and we're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now. So far, so good on this play. The only thing I'm going to probably do is get out of some AMC because we've been down here before. There could be some good support. And again, not that I'm looking at any levels. It's just this name's down 7.5%. 7.37% now. So this is definitely more aggressive to the downside. So on any kind of a market move up, this could retrace a little bit. I mean, 7% down on nothing. Not that AMC needs news to go one way or the other, but I feel like if I'm going to tap out of anything right now, it's going to be AMC. So I'm going to put something on the bid here and see if we can just get a 34, something like that. And by the time I finish talking, maybe it'll be lower. But take out another piece right now. I still have shares on all these positions, so pretty happy with it. Apple's starting to move against us, so maybe we'll look at Apple a little bit longer. I feel like, remember we talked about DraftKings earlier, and I didn't like it. We talked about that in the morning. That was up here at 1780, and since then, I mean, look at DraftKings. Look at this fall apart. I mean, this is like an absolute destruction of a chart right here on DKNG. Any kind of a bump up. I'm kind of with you, Arun. Maybe that's what you're waiting for too.
What?
Like just a bump up so we can short more. Like, I mean, it's just like, I don't know about shorting any of these names on the bottom right now. Although we're into power hour, really happy with the positions. Let me know if anything's setting up for you guys on what we actually look to short now, because I'm not finding too many setups. I'm trying to go over some names.
All right, futures, there's a question. Next levels, there are none. 4,300, that's it. That's the next level I've got for you. The reason I'm putting that out there is because that's the wrong one. Let me put up futures here. ES 4,300, actually it should be on this chart, but 4,300 is the one that I'm going to work with down here. It gets very messy as we get closer to 50, so I'm not going to mark off any. I don't have any levels marked off through there. There could still be a bounce into the the 75 to the 50 area. So we're not going to do anything. Let the market trade out. see how it wants to trade. For now, though, we're just going to work now to the upside. I'm going to use about 44.15 to 44.20 as the next trail point. So we're going to leave it be. Futures have taken out that 43.80, but we're not getting too far away from it. So it seems like we're going to, spend a little bit of time here. It makes sense, right? Stops go off by a couple points, then we kind of bounce around a little bit. There's no reason to rush straight to the downside because keep in mind, if we've been shorting for the most part all afternoon, at what point do people, intraday traders, such as myself, start taking profit? Large enough in such a fashion where it gets other people involved and then you get a move to the upside, right? I have no desire to take profit at the moment, but at the same time, you got to wonder who wants to carry this overnight and who doesn't, and whoever doesn't is going to definitely want to get out before this day closes out. So I'm looking forward or trying to stay away from, like Sean said, go for shorts and get run over by a wave of buying that comes in as people are cashing out, right? So we're gonna wait this one out. In the event that we get a move back towards 4,400, I can see more shorts being entered. I would look for some more shorts up there, but we are gonna sit 35 points, 35, 40 points away from where we are right now. Not 35 points, 20, 30 points away from where we are right now and see if this market actually wants to get going back to the downside, even past the buy side wave that may come. And somebody was asking, have I cashed out everything? No. Have I cashed out some of it? Yeah, I've cashed out some around 44.10, but I'm waiting. Again, a lot of what I do is building up positions and then cashing out along the way. But with the futures, the only thing I had to worry about was that 4,400. We kind of bounced a little bit. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe cash them out just in the event that it came all the way back. And then with this leg, I have no desire to get any more out. I can, but again, you're at this point, you're so close to the end of the day with 40 minutes left of the day. All you have to do is weather any sort of buy wave, and then you should get some movement back to the downside as we get near the end of the day. Remember, we can take this until 4:15 on the S&P because the Globex hours are not the same as equity hours. So 4 o'clock for equities, 4:15 on the ES futures or NASDAQ futures or any futures really, and then we'll see what we can get. If we need to take it that far out into 4:15, sure, I'll take it until like 4:14:30 or something and then get out. But I am going to try to hold on to this as long as possible and just weather any sort of buy wave that comes through here.
Yeah, good, great talk there. I mean, that's part of the strategies that we're trying to work with here and try to find something and work with the positions that we currently have. On that note, I got out of Apple there. It was just strong, so I was like, forget about it. We got out at 05. So we take a 30-cent winner and then a 5-cent loser. So net 25 cents net on Apple as it's starting to go back upside. So we'll leave it alone now. And I'm not. It's strong. So if it breaks upside, this is actually the name I want long. And then AMD, we just took another piece out right there. We still have some on, but like Arun was sort of talking about it, at some point there's going to be a buyback at some point here in the market, and maybe there's not. So we just took it out right here at 85. So a nice, or was it a little bit lower? Maybe the 83, 84, whatever it was. But right there, out of another piece of AMD, sorry, and then over to AMC, the same thing. As I was talking, I got 33s, so out of that one, and they're just all right here. I just want to, be as honest and as forthright with all of you guys that I did cash them out. I know Arun's just talked about his futures position, so that's that. So we're going to cash out a little bit. I like Softy down here, and I do short Softy as well. Like I don't necessarily have a problem doing that here, but at the same time, if you look at what Microsoft is doing at these levels, I really feel like it bounced pretty good off that 280 there, and that's going to be a decent. Again, we have these stupid wicks that I can't get rid of. If we come back into 281, I like the opportunity to trade this. So let's see if we can get that back down into 281 or so here. I mean, that bottom is 280.50. So a missed opportunity for sure, because I feel like that's a great long to have there. Like to be able to get that trade at 280, 281, something like that for Microsoft when it's bounced off this level a couple times back down. I mean, the lower levels are down into here, but that 280, just a psychological level, it's right there, bounced off there. There's been some bouncing. I mean, if you're going to look at these wicks, I don't even know if half of them are real or not. Like, I don't think we definitely didn't go to 270 yesterday. So I like that play if we pull back down, but that needs to happen first. That's going to be Microsoft. And then I'm just debating, honestly, just in case we get that bid here, I don't know if we're going to get it. The futures are failing right now at that 50 period again, Arun. So we get a little fail right there at the 50 period. So it didn't change anything. The momentum was going up. You have a couple minutes of in a row there of green, but then a fail at the 50 period, which is normally a great reload spot. So I'm looking at Apple right now. It's above on the daily. We already know that. It just went below the 50 period. And if you look here on the 1 minute chart, we are now above the 50 period on the 1 minute chart. So yeah, I'm debating this. I'm debating going long here on Apple. But again, would rather have it down near these lows, meaning that if we'd have to break lower than this on the NASDAQ for this to work. So I think I'm going to start a little long here on Apple and see if we can get an explosion to the upside. We still have the hedge on with weaker names in AMD and AMC, but I really feel like we could get a little bit of a bump up here in Apple now that we've broke above this 50 period. So let's put on some small risk. And if we have to average in here, we will, and then we'll respect that bottom of 64. Look, man, it's only going to be a 60-cent hit, even if it goes back down to the bottom. So I like the risk to reward here on Apple.
All right. To answer a question from Dr. Strange, do we have any overnights? No, not with these accounts through our trading office here, because again, as a day trading firm, we got to be flat by the end of the day, right? Equity should be flat by 4 o'clock unless there's extra special, volume that allows you to. There's a little gray area there, maybe a few minutes after, if you have the volume to trade in that post market. But for the most part, 4 o'clock, you need to be flat on equity side. And then S&P or the futures, CME futures, they close up at 415. So you got to be flat by 415. But that doesn't, if you have personal accounts and you have other contracts, you obviously are going to take overnight positions and whatnot. So I do that on none of the ones that I trade here. So specifically, I trade here on the S&P side. In my own, I am on the NASDAQ side of things. So I can actually, kind of separate the two, because I don't want to have to deal with this on a day-to-day basis, and also creates compliance issues, right? So we just completely separate the two, and it's just easier for me to go that way and go about it. So S&P bouncing a little bit off these 80s, okay, that's fine, as long as we bounce a little bit and not too aggressively, because if we were to bounce aggressively, I got to worry about a false breakout through that 80 that takes out some stops too, right? This should not bounce too hard. I mean, there should be a small bounce, but not so much so that I'm starting to think, hey, did we just break the 80s only to flip back around and go up? There shouldn't be enough, but again, you got to worry about that, right? This late in the day, things get crazy fairly quickly, so you do have to worry about that. I'm still waiting here just north of 10 into the 15, well, 15s into the 20s to be fair, and see if you can actually get going to the downside. I'm giving it a ton of space to move around. I have no reason to rush the exits, like I said, but at the same time, I'm just preparing myself for the potential that there's a buy wave. As I say that, there goes Walmart. Walmart's kind of, at this point, Walmart's just leaking. It was good for a little bit, but now it's just starting to leak, and I'm probably gonna have to walk away from Walmart fairly soon.
There goes AMC, man. We just got a 27 bid on AMC, man. We are cruising right now. AMD, $2 in the money and trying to make those new lows again. We are into Apple right now, but again, we just got that fail at the 50 period. So this is just, we're done averaging into Apple until we get back down here where we can see if it holds that bottom. So again, we switched it up. I'm glad we took the money on the short there and then got out for flat on the last half. So we're up on Apple today. It's a good trade, but right now, coming back into that 50 period, I don't even, normally I'd average in right here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait until we get into this cluster here. Put on a little less risk for Apple and see what happens into this cluster if we get it. Normally, I'd be like averaging in right now, but let's just wait to see. You can see the way this day is going, man. Heading into these imbalances, I mean, they look like they're going to be sell side to me. What's up, Neil?
I could give you something that's looking pretty strong, but with the battle going on in Bitcoin at that 40,000 and 3,000 on Ethereum, worth mentioning that Coinbase down 2.5%, and it's retesting the lows. It just retook 150 to the downside about a couple of seconds ago. The low of the day just sits below that. These are all-time lows for Coinbase. So under a tremendous amount of pressure. Talk about the floodgates opening up. This will be something to watch for the rest of the session and for tomorrow. We slip below either of those two key watermarks for both BTC and ETH, and Coinbase can't hold 150. There's nothing below this. Nothing.
There's a question I actually want to address in the chat. Nick asking about how to manage your winning positions without ruining your average price. It's a great question because it's very hard, obviously, when you.
I don't think can you.
What? To manage your positions without average, like you don't want to get it so bad, like you end up giving back all your profits because you keep averaging, right?
Back, yeah.
So the thing I have with averaging, I always separate my trades. If I have a planned average, like I did on the futures this morning, I know that I should end up somewhere in here for my average price. That's planned. So I'm ahead of time. I'm already thinking multiple entries. But once it starts going in the money, I'm not getting in just because it's going in the money. I'm waiting for the next location where it's a technical setup. So I'm almost separating the initial trade that I had, like the ones up here, from the ones that I want to start taking maybe down here. So it's not me averaging in, it's me repositioning for a brand new set of trades. So regardless of what I've got already, now in my head I'm thinking there's another trade. If I weren't in this one, would I take this one? If the answer is yes, that's where I'm going to start taking more, not because it's going down. When you start taking more just because it's going in your favor, that's how you ruin your average price because your risk is probably going to stay where it needs to be, right? The stop should be where it needs to be, not where you want it to be. So if the stop's still up here and you're just averaging as it's going in the money, you're going to end up losing a ton more when it comes back to your stop. So that's why I like to let it go where it sets up technically for a brand new trade, at which point I will step in, set up a brand new trade. My average price will come down, but I can be confident in the fact that, hey, this is actually a technical setup. That's why I'm taking more, not just because it's going in the money. So that's my whole thing with managing risk in terms of averaging. I just separate the trades. If I can't take a second trade, if I wasn't in the first one, then I probably shouldn't be taking the second one, or I shouldn't be taking more shares. If I already plan to work into a certain area, then I know where my average price should be already in that area. I know where the risk exit is going to be, right? So that's my whole thing. Just make sure it's technically solid so you can be confident holding on to it. As I say that, futures breaking through those 80s again and now sitting just a shade above 75.
All right, here we go. Buckle up here as AMD continues to be a monster. AMC continues to be a monster. But guess what? Your boy is back into Mr. Softy for the first time today. So I said back in, which doesn't make any sense. But here we go. We are now into Mr. Softy. We have our positions. My average price is $280.90 right now. If I could take out 20 cents on the first piece, there it is. Let's go. Hit the sirens alert. Let's go to the upside now as we're trying to see if we could take it. So a nice little quick little out there for Microsoft off that. Put some of that money in our pocket. And again, Arun and I, different traders. Let's go to the upside. We did have a nice little average price here as well on Apple as that came in and I took that bid. But again, I'm waiting for more down here. If it takes down the low, then we're going to be out of this one. Obviously, the market is Tank City, but I'm fine with this because I'm short AMD and I'm just long Microsoft, which is relatively stronger than that. Like right now, we just have 30, 40 cents now on Microsoft as it continues to go back up to the upside. So again, like let's just take a piece out if we can get back into the 20s. That's where the 50 period is at 60. But if we can get a little bit of a bump up and take 40 more cents, this is the thing. It's like I just get into Microsoft and I'm in the money now 40 cents. AMD is not dropping 40 cents at the same amount of time that I just made 40 cents on Microsoft. So you have to think about that. Like I look over at my net, and again, we don't show our nets. That's done on purpose. We've talked about why, but like it's just going up, up, up. Like even though I'm sitting in this Microsoft long, and now we're 30 cents in the money on this Microsoft long. So again, although it's not going to look like nothing because we have these big wicks, but we are long now, Softy. And there it is. Yes, sir. Get another piece out, Microsoft. Young. Go up, man. This is a nice little move upside here from Microsoft as it's starting to go. So here we go. 50 cents now in the money on Microsoft. So let's go. Pigs get slaughtered, but hey, with the way this market's moving, let's take more pieces out on Softy. Like I'm sitting here in a 57-cent winner on NEO and pretty happy about it as it continues to go down. I have 50 cents on Microsoft right now in the last 2 minutes. So here we go. Nice little move to the upside on Softy. We average it on Apple, and now that's going to be back into the money for us as well. So we're going to fail on the day, but not on the stocks right now as Microsoft and Apple both working back up to the upside. Good little wins here. Yeah, we're getting elevated because, hey, we're trading here. We eat what we kill. And there it is, man. Hold that short on the futures. I still believe we're short here on the day, but we're going to take advantage. And with that being said, that's why I'm emptying out some clips right now, man. Like we're getting out of those winners on Microsoft. I don't think this is mooning or anything. We're just seeing the money. We're taking it out. Technically, it's at the right spots. So we took it there against that 280.50. Like, I'm long at 80, right? It was 30 cents worth of risk. We're already in the money 50 cents. So right there, 1.3 to 1, already taking on Microsoft. Let's go. There it goes. Nice little move to the upside. Let's go, Microsoft. Apple, you just the big boy. You follow this guy. And let's go to the upside, Microsoft, right now.
All right, I took some more out in front of these 80s. I'm not liking too much what's happening around here. I think it's maybe time to shed a little bit of risk, just a little bit. Maybe there might be a buy wave coming soon. I don't know. But I definitely am going to work some exit. I did work an exit in front of these 80s. It's going, but I've still got more. So I'm not like completely walking away from this. It's just me cashing out some in front of these 80s. As we get to areas where there's pockets, I want to take some out just to lock in some cash in the event there is a buy wave to the upside. So let's try to avoid that situation as much as possible while locking in as much as possible as well. Obviously, the market is now at new lows, at working lows. We are down, what are we down here? We are down 0.75, pretty much equal, 0.7 on the S&P, 0.74 on the NASDAQ, and we're not looking too pretty. NASDAQ just now it's underneath 13,900, and the low is 13,881 quarter. Is that actually right? 13,881, probably right. 13,881 quarter. So at this point, we've cashed out what we needed to cash out. We've been working around 80, so I'm cashing out some more, obviously. And now I've also walked away from Walmart. Walmart has zero hope. I'm not even going to waste any more money with Walmart. Clearly, I was playing relative strength, but what's relative strength in a market that continues to sell, right? And you're long. So on a day like today where I can't hold this for multiple time periods like I did with the Walmart, my stock pick for that earlier that we did, I was Walmart. If I can't hold through the weeks that I need to hold it for, if it's an intraday trade, it's going to be tough to get going. So we're going to cash out Walmart, take the hit on Walmart, but we are making a decent amount of cash here on the S&P futures. Last exit was about 50 points, just shade underneath 50 points in a win around these 80s. So still holding rest. Maybe we get some acceleration to the downside. That's what I'm going to be playing for, and we'll see how this one plays out. But I definitely like the idea of cashing some out and letting the rest go as we get closer and closer to the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Strange, again, for the love and understanding that, what I'm doing is just counter-trend scalping right now. And I also got a question there. Is Microsoft a good buy here for the long term? I mean, yeah. I think all these names, guys, are good buys for the long term at this level. I mean, some of the big cap names like I'm talking about, Apple, AMD, Microsoft, like I just feel like if you're looking long term, you're going to be fine. But I'm talking long term, I'm talking 5 years. Like I'm not just talking about 1 or 2 months here. And you got to define that yourself. I think that's really the most important thing before we answer like questions about is this a good buy? It has to do with your risk tolerance, what long term means for you. Hey, Arun, what that means for you, so on and so forth. But, definitely make sure that, you're in the right spot. And again, do I think these are good for swing trades? Probably not, man. Like this market, the last week, we talked about it being down 4%. And then now today, I mean, puking again today, when we were already up 2%. This has been a turnaround of almost 3% today. The NASDAQ was up huge off that CPI number. Whether or not it should have been or not, obviously, to the downside, you had a chance to short again right there. Monster move down here today in the NASDAQ. So, I mean, even though it doesn't, you look at it, you say, oh, it's only down 0.71, but maybe you didn't notice that it was up 2% at one point. So definitely a big time reversal. We don't like that here, and I don't like it. I never like when stocks reverse off their tops or their bottoms. Kind of not a great sign. A great sign for a bull, but there we go. Microsoft right now, 50 cents in the money and still going. Meanwhile, we're still short AMD. Like, look, Microsoft is now $1 off its bottoms. AMD is at its bottoms. So, like, if you're going to talk about stock picker, Arun is trading the futures great today. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But as far as stock picking, I'm really happy with the balance here. AMD taking down lows, Microsoft starting to rip upside, and Apple, I'm back to flat on that trade. So I couldn't be happier with some of these positions. AMC also 40 cents now in the money. That's at day lows. We just got a 20 fill on AMC. I mean, look, this has just been a fantastic show. This is why I say, like, we're real traders. Rune and I, Neil, Brendan, we're all putting capital to work. This is real money. Like, the decisions that I make affect my income. So this is why we don't sell anything to you guys. We don't make money off of you, right? We're sitting here entertaining, hopefully educating, and there's not one better than Neil. So let's go over there. As Microsoft right now, $1 in the money. Let's go, buddy. Neil.
Yeah, this market continued to be very weak. And speaking of educating here, double top on the DVTL, liked it for a breakout. It could not get through the high. Volume's still pretty good in this one going in the next to the last half an hour or last 20 minutes. But if it takes out this 970, watch out below. You had a 970 push to make that double top. Now it's trying to bounce off. It's a 1 from 11. Resisted that 10% move down in front of this 970 area. But if we take that, it could be headed to 9 in an absolute hurry. I mean, even all these small caps are starting to rug pull. I was watching at HISTO or HSTO, this penny stock, which was up, trying to break about to 50 cents, and they just pulled a rug on that as well. So it doesn't look like there is much strength in this market to end the day.
Well, strength is... Overall, the market's weak, but again, you can get waves of buying, right? That's why I was cashing out in the 80s, and because as you get near the end of the day, it's pretty obvious what's been happening all day. We've been selling, right? So as you get closer to the end of the day, you're going to have people getting out. It makes sense, locking in intraday profits. So here we are moving to the upside on the S&P, on the futures, on the US futures. Now we cashed out some in front of the 80s. Now we're at 85, and this is exactly what I was like, you know what, I don't like what's happening here, is because you could see the volume get a little bit tighter around this area. So there's some decent action. You knew that 80 was going to be a problem because of the fact that 82 was a low. 80 is probably going to have stops. We took it once. We took it twice. Volume thickened up. Time to cash out some, right? So I've got the rest. We're going to ride that one out. I'll weather that storm for the rest of it. But I'm glad that I got some out exit. Yeah, you see it here. Oh, you can't see it on that chart. Can we get the, actually don't even worry about it. But yeah, here we are waiting as this one moves now back towards 86. I might actually just reload on this as we get to 4,400, depending on how we get to 4,400. The shorts could still be on the table, just not yet, as the buy wave has started clearly. And here we are at 87.5 now.
Guys, thank you for all the kind words. Tease Trade, everybody. Scott Jones, what's up? He loves the show. All of you guys there, man. This is what it's good right here. So, yeah, here we go to the upside. Nice little take on Apple now. 35 cents in the money. We just took a piece out. Why not? Let's see if this rally has legs, right? We're going to hold it. And Arun and I obviously thinking, and there it is. Don't know why we hit Weed Batman there, but it was right there. A Microsoft, there it is, an official dollar off that move. It's too bad because like these wicks really make this trade look, irrelevant. But these are some nice bottoms there. 280.79. There's the out. 281.80. That's $1. And I mean, this was from again 330. Right here to 281.80, right? And again, I just want to say, like someone said that, oh, it's right here. What's up, yo, yo, yo? Like maybe I'm on one right now today. I don't know. But yo, yo, yo. What are we bragging about right now? I don't understand what we're bragging about here. We are supposed to trade with real money. Well, you know what? I'm here to tell you something. Some of those shows that you watch, by the way, trade with your money. So just remember that when you're talking about different shows and what we offer versus what other people offer. Like, we don't sell you anything and then therefore take your money and put it into the market. So just remember that. And it's very tough to trade. And we've had guest traders on the show. And I'm not, there's going to be way better traders than me out there. Than me? Come on, I'm just an average dad here trying to kill it for you guys on the market. But let's be perfectly honest. Arun and myself and Neil and Brendan, we stick our neck out every single day by showing you every single trade that we make. So, I mean, you guys can look back. It's well documented, every single trade that I've made over the last 2.5 years, all live right in front of you guys. So, I mean, yeah, am I proud of what we've built here at Trader TV Live? Of course I'm proud. Am I excited that we've grown this from 0 subscribers to 300,000 in a year and a half or whatever that time frame is? Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. And I think we can keep on rolling. And look, I'm going to say it right now. We're the realest trading show out there, period. You're not going to find anyone else. Period. You're not. You're not going to find anyone else that puts on trades like we do, that expose ourselves like this. And sure, some other guys will be like, oh, I'm long 80,000 shares of Veru. I just took $1. That's great. That's fine. Maybe he is long 80,000 shares of Veru. Maybe he isn't. I don't know. But I know what I'm long, and I know what Arun's long or short. And look, trust me, we're sitting here live on a trading floor. We're using real money, and I'm just so proud of what we've been able to accomplish here at Trader TV Live. And believe me when I tell you, this is just the beginning. So giddy up, and thank you for watching.
All right, I got one thing to say with this. Like, if you have 80,000 shares of, why would you put that on blast?
I know why they put it on blast.
Why would you put that on blast?
Because they want everybody else to sit there and buy out of his position.
Yeah,
that's
at the end of the day, listen, this shows I'm a trader, right? Sean's a trader. I'm going to make money. If you want to watch it and watch me make money, fine. If you don't, I really don't care. I'm here a few days out of the month when these guys take the day off anyway. So if you guys can learn something from it, it seems like there's a lot of people learning from it. Great. If you don't like it, don't really care. I'll be gone in a few days, so you guys can deal with whatever happens after that. But I'm glad that there's a lot of questions being asked. There's a lot of questions being asked. And I'm glad I can answer these questions, like the management of the positions when you're deep in the money. There's very valuable things to be learned from questions, right? At the end of the day, reason why we don't, specifically, you're never going to see my position. I don't care what the rules change. If maybe the show at some point shows the size of your positions, you will never see me show my size of my positions. I am not putting myself in that kind of a spot to show my size positions. So definitely not happening. So regardless of what happens and how much trash talk there is, I'm going to do what I do, and I'm just going to keep doing it. It really doesn't matter to me.
There's really no trash talking. I'm just trying to keep it real with people and just say that, like, exactly what you just said there, Arun. It's like, we have families. This is our income. This is what we do. And if you think we're making money like off YouTube or something like that, then you don't understand the way that they pay. We have over 10 people working here on salary. Okay, let's go. And thank you for all the kind words about the production. I can't say enough kind words every day about Fahad and Lucas and Mark and everybody that's working in the background for us to make this show exactly what it is for you. So, and a big shout out to Justin as well that comes on as the marketing guy. So, yeah, we're super, super happy. But let's go back to trading now because, hey, that's what we're supposed to do. It's only 5 minutes now until the market on close and balance goes. Another show showing that? Okay, I'm moving on. Apple right there. Good win for us, man. That was $1 on Apple as well. So, like, here we go. Buying these dips. Shout out to Dinesh. Shout out to the guys that have been with us for a while and that know the trades that we're putting on right now. Nice little move up to 167.80 right there. And why did I get out? Here's where the teaching comes. I didn't use your liquidity to get out. Here, right here. Look, this is a level right here, right? We stopped and dropped. We stopped and popped there. And that's where we got out. So that's where we're sitting. And I said, let's see if Apple can go for a run. We are now out of half of these positions to the upside. And all we're doing is stacking up those cash. Oops, that's not going to work. Hey, what's up, Neil? Ow. There we go. I don't know. I don't know. I meant to hit the pigs get slaughtered when it was right beside it. So fail for me on the graphics on that one. But that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun there.
I didn't see it. What did you do? You ate it?
You want to see it again?
Yeah, let's do it again.
No, it says eat Sean. So.
Oh,
like, first of all, yeah, Neil right there is like 7 times bigger than me right there. And then taking it down. So, all right, let's move on from that one. But I like that graphic. I think I remember there should be one that says "Eat Sean" on there, but don't worry, don't hit it. Or "Eat Neil," I guess would be on his screen. But you don't have to worry about it. Don't even hit. I mean, if you find it, you can hit it. But I don't know.
There's only an "Eat Sean." There's no "Eat Neil."
Okay, good. Let's get over that. All right. So again, just to recap some of the positions that we only have 4 minutes. Are you doing anything into the imbalances? Holding? Yo, slow down there, Baxter, man. This guy's hitting the TVs there behind us. Get ready for some workers' compensation there on that one. But the imbalances are coming through. I don't know if you want to talk about that quickly or what your situation is. You let me know.
Sure.
But Neil, we just took a piece out right there at 46.
All right, imbalance located. Do a quick update, or not update, quick run over on the imbalance. At 350, New York, NASDAQ, a lot of North American, TSX now as well. At 350, they sent out the data that needs to be, that is for any orders that need to be executed on the official closing price or MOC, right, market on close. All that information is then put through an imbalance locator, shows this stock needs to execute this many shares in this direction. So we get to see it. I'm sure every trading software has some form of a tool like this, but for us, it looks like this from Day Trader the World. So in our software, it looks like this. You have the symbol, you have the direction, you have the size of the imbalance, and a paired value number. So what you got to do essentially is the total imbalance size is the paired value plus the size. but the pair value shows how many of those shares has been matched by opposing orders. So let's just say there's 1 million shares to sell, and there's a pair value of 700,000. That means 300,000 left for the sell side, and 700,000 has already been matched and already accounted for. So you look at the size and you look at the paired value. Usually when the paired value is large, it's probably because there's something going on. We noticed that yesterday with the Warner Brothers spinoff. So today, given what the market's looking like, we're seeing a lot of movement in some of these big tech names, right? NVIDIA, Google, Adobe. Could they bring big sell side movement? But then the flip side is Apple. Apple's actually getting stronger as the day gets day gets closer to the end there. So maybe Apple's a buy side. It's been relatively strong as the market accelerates to the upside, right? So that's pretty much it. At 350, we'll get the update, and we'll show you guys what it looks like. Usually it's nothing unless there's a special indexing event. But hey, it's good to be pleasantly surprised. Neil?
Thank you very much, Arun. There is a chance we have a runner here. We talked about DWAC, the news earlier on in the session. Fox News joining True Social. But the break at 48 in VWAP did happen. It's trying to make a bit of a late day run here. So finally finding something which has a shot at a late rally. Oftentimes you will see this move after 4 o'clock as well. But 50 is overhead resistance. The news is come and gone. But this name trying to break out as the market is finding a bit of a bottom. Not a heck of a lot that's this strong. On a day like today, up 7.5%.
Well, as this market runs back, I'm thinking, hey, those 80s looking pretty good. That 80 exit that I had, 15 points from where we are now. So clearly that 80 exit is not even on the screen. There we go. There it is. There, 80 exit as the 80 was becoming a problem. I've still got the rest. I've still got to get the rest of it out. We'll see. We'll give it a chance, maybe to 415 if we need to, but we'll just hold on to the rest and see what we can do after these imbalances come out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I couldn't be happier. We're out of our NEO trade. Look at this out we just took on AMD as well, as we hold a very, very small piece. It's actually a part fill that we have left, so it's like under 1% of the position that we have left here. We just didn't get the full load there. We got some out right before it broke this 50 period. AMD absolutely destroyed to the downside. And not only that, like, Arun got out of that, but you guys know we are now $1.50 in the money on Microsoft. We are now 55 cents in the money on Apple. And I want to give a big shout out to you, Andrew Harris. Thank you for that super chat. What's up, Ms. Veep?
Hey guys, there's so much support and love on the chat. Thank you for all your kind words and for your super chats. It's super important for us to hear and know that you like what we do and you see how much our show improved since the day first. And guys, great news. We need just 70 more likes to 1K. So please, if you didn't like this video yet, we would really appreciate if you do so. Back to you, Sean.
All right, we got about 20 seconds left before these imbalances come out, so we'll just stay on my screen and we'll see what these imbalances are going to look like. This market has bounced a decent chunk, right? From these 80s, now we're at 93. I know, Sean, you're in a long, Microsoft long.
I've got two longs, my friend.
Oh, nice. $1.54 and Apple as well, accelerating to the upside. We've got about 2 seconds. Let's see what these imbalances are. Guys, let's put it on my screen. Whoa, PBR. Why?
That's just a little
Peabody. No, it's not Peabody.
No,
it's a Brazilian one, right?
Yes, Petrobras.
Petrobras. PBR, 2.6 million. NFY, buy side 1.4, and PDD 1 million. PDD is going to be interesting because PDD, you know, these Chinese names have been having quite the day recently, quite the movement recently. Let's see what PDD, I haven't even looked at PDD on the day. It's down 1%. It's a buy side imbalance of 1 million shares. Not much on the, I don't know. It's just, again, when there's no indexing event, you're not going to get a crazy movement. So it seems like that's what we're getting here. Continued buy-side movement in the S&P, but at the same time, imbalances aren't large. Next update, 355 update, it's going to be the update from the floor. So when their orders get put into the book, we'll see what changes happen here. Sometimes what you'll see is some names that weren't on this list all of a sudden get to the top of this list because there's a lot of interest from the floor. For those names. So we'll keep an eye on it. Next checkpoint is going to be 355.
Yeah, we're out. So, I mean, we still have those two longs right now. Apple at 75, 85 cents in the money on Apple. It just touched VWAP right there. So, and I was just about to tweet it out. Like, I don't know how we managed to get long there in the teeth of all that move. But sometimes you have to have confidence in some names. And again, we shorted Apple. Like, not only that, we made 30 cents short on Apple before we decided to go long and flip that over to the other side. And then Microsoft, of course, because this is all beat up here with all these deep prints, you don't get to see it. But a good little long take on Apple as well, or sorry, on Microsoft as well to end the day. And we just took one of our last pieces out. We only have 20% left. We took it out at that 281.83, and of course our long is 79. So a $1 win on that one. It just went like almost $2 in the money for us there on that imbalance number. So let's see. I'm just going to hold both of these to see what happens into the close, because I know it's in the close now, but 355 we have a major flip. Sometimes can be a major flip in those imbalance numbers. So I don't know what it came out as a
550, I'm being told.
To buy?
Sell side.
Sell side. So there you go. So I'm feeling like we could flip that around and get that buy, and then we'll get that $2 winner here on Microsoft. And if I can get it out of this 283, I think that's a pretty good target. So let's go a little less than that. Let's go for $2 clean. Let's go for 282.79. I mean, it's going to be a big move upside there. But if you do get a flip and you get some pressure on this market, I think it could be a good thing. So we'll look to see if we can trade that into the close. Microsoft 282. And I mean, maybe that's, what is that high there, 55? Let's just go to let's just go to 282.50. If we can get that, that's great. Just to where we were before, 282.50. That's my target here for Softy. And then for Apple, I don't know, pretty good move already. Should have again got something out on that bump up. I might take a piece out just in case it doesn't flip. I don't want to hold this all the way back down. So let's take one more piece out of Apple. I have more confidence in Microsoft than I do in Apple right now.
All right, what do we got? Yeah, 53. Okay, futures. Coming back down after these not even 4,400s. It was like 43.96 or 97-ish. Now we're at 88. 355 update should bring us some more volatility, like Sean mentioned. Whatever happens after 355 is usually what will lead into 4 o'clock, right? As the programs at that point have gotten exactly what they need to do. They've gotten the information that they need to from these imbalances if they're sell-side waves. Specifically in some heavy index names, you see Apple taking off to the upside well before this, as this market got going to the upside. Now, Apple, 1.16, and Tesla, almost 1%, about to hit 1% to the upside. Tesla, Tesla's relatively strong. So keep this in mind for tomorrow. Relative strength and weakness. If the market is down 0.4% on the NASDAQ, specifically the NASDAQ, Apple, the largest weight, 1.22 to the upside, and Microsoft, second largest weight, 1.1 to the downside. So numbers 1 and 2 in terms of weighting in opposite directions in a market that's down. So you know Apple's got the relative strength relative to Microsoft. So if you have a down day, you want to probably play short side Microsoft. If you want to have an up day, you want to play long side Apple. And then Tesla still going strong now, north of 1% to the upside and doing well as we head into the final 30 seconds. A couple of things we're going to go through. I'll just go through this and take it into 5, and then I'll give it to you, Sean, there for these imbalance updates here. I'm looking at the S&P 500. Actually, no, I'll bring the watch list down here. This is what I'm looking at here. S&P 500, we got Berkshire, JP Morgan. Remember, banks have been terrific in the last little bit. Yeah, no, biggest at the top of the list anyways, down 1.27%. So banks having a tough time today after having a stellar move. 355, what do we got on these updates? PBR still there, INFY there, buy side, and that's about it. So nothing changed. Looks like as long as nothing changes, market's decided that it wants to go back to the upside.
You hear that lovely sound, Arun?
What's that? Cash, cash, cash.
We got that exactly done right there. So like, shout out to everybody that was like talking about all that stuff. But I just said 282.50 for Microsoft. That's a $2 winner right there, taken for you in the last 15 minutes. So, hey, if you didn't have a good day, hopefully that turned it around a little bit. There it is right there, Microsoft. Just catch it out at that exact level right there. So pretty good, man. Pretty happy with this softy trading. Took that $2 at the last bit. Apple, we took a beat piece out there at 70 for 70 cents. And now it's up here to 168 flat. So I feel like if we can get back to 168 there, I don't know why I didn't have an offer. We're going to put one there right now. Cash that out for another 80 cents and then just move on. What a big day it's been, and thank you to everybody. I'm going to say get well soon, Prad, as I know his throat little sore. My throat's sore too right now, but again, I feel like that's just from talking and that it's a little dry in here. So yeah, we're ready, we're excited. I thought we said let's gonna go to earnings, which we already know is JP Morgan on deck. I think we missed that this morning, but we got it now. So let's go over to Ms. V for earnings.
It'll be me. We got JP Morgan Chase in the morning. Of course, the banks usually report in the morning and have their earnings calls, but you've also got on the board here, guys, Delta. So Delta going to be reporting. They're actually up on the day. Big strength in the airlines coming through. And Bed Bath & Beyond, which we should always want to talk about. They still have a 15% short interest, at least according to Icon.
All right, yeah, well, wow, Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah, I'm waiting to see like a possible share structure issues and things like that with Bed Bath & Beyond. I really believe that has some crazy upside potential. I would not be shorting Bed Bath & Beyond, although not just because of the business. I mean, I don't know what's happening. Retail hasn't been great, but Bed Bath & Beyond, a big short interest. We can look at that again. It's not even just, oops, not BBBBY. There it is, 3 B's and a Y right there. So they've been hit, obviously, retail. We've talked about that. Some of the retail that's been working has been your Walmart and things like that. But Bed Bath & Beyond, what a drastic move downside. So to say that people are set up short, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. If something comes out, again, I don't know, like a Ryan Cohen type event happening on Bed Bath & Beyond tomorrow, we know the way this thing can squeeze. We know it has big opportunities to do crazy wicks that are actually real like this and crazy movements on Bed Bath & Beyond. This thing can go 20, 30, 40% in one day. So for me, obviously, the downside protection is down here to 12. I don't even know what options would be on this, probably ridiculous. But for me, I wouldn't worry about the downside. I just worry about some sort of good news coming about, I don't know what about, but I just, you know, I would look for that squeeze to happen. We talked about JP Morgan. I really like the environment for JP Morgan right now with raising interest rates coming through. Again, I feel like they've been beat down and that you can get this back up. We're not going anywhere tomorrow, but I just feel like this is a good time to start nibbling in, just like we did the first time, man. Shout out to Daryl. The first time we were starting to nibble at this thing around $80, but right now, JP Morgan to the downside. I like that for an opportunity.
Yeah, we're getting to the final 90 seconds here. Market wants to take another look, maybe get some more shorts getting out. It seems like we're going back up into the mid-90s. I'm going to hold on. I might take it past 4 o'clock. I mean, depending on the way that we, remember, I'm short, right? So if I see buy waves that continue after 4 o'clock, I definitely don't want to be in this anymore. But if we end up coming back in a little bit towards the end here as we get to 4 o'clock, just past 4 o'clock, and we get some selling, I cash out on the way back down, maybe to the mid-80s or so. But for the time being, I am looking to close out as this market decides it wants to take another look to these 95. So with about a minute left, and the market's now coming back from being up 2% on the NASDAQ to being down aggressively, now to being only down 0.3%. It's been quite the day, but when you look at it like that, that doesn't seem that exciting. But hey, you need to be in it to understand what happened today. And it's been crazy.
Well, I'm exhausted.
So here we are. Yeah, so here we are into the final 30 seconds there, Sean.
I'm exhausted into today, but what a great day it's been. And we've got everybody's favorite end of day bell ringers going through one more time. So we'll try to ring this bell at the right time today. And it just starts with me with the countdown. So yeah, get ready, man. What an exciting day. What's up, Ms. V? We'll hit the countdown right now to get going with only 10 seconds left. That's Ms. V and that's Tony. And Tony's been really helping out a lot of our new traders here. So shout out to you. Much respect to Tony with only 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you so much. What a great day that's been today. And I think, Arun, I don't think you could have said any wiser words there, because being involved in it today is what was unbelievable. We had that monster run up in the morning, which you and I and Neil were here for all morning long. We talked about the CPI number. We are here trading that live with you guys as well. We gave some crazy numbers with AMD approaching that $100 mark. And yeah, this was just been such a wild day. $3 winners. Futures destroyed over there as well. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier other than, of course, we miss Brendan. But Neil was a great job today on some of that news that flow through. I know it wasn't a huge news day, but still, you know, getting some of those low floaters there. Low floaters, every time I say that. But yeah, let's go over now to Neil at the big desk and just see where we wound up for the market. What kind of a day was that?
Well, not the best. You had like that low floater thing. I probably think the same thing when you say that. But yeah, to the downside overall. I mean, the only thing that was up today was crude oil, and up significantly, 6.5%, but 1/3% pretty much across the board. S&P, Dow, and the Nasdaq. Even the TSX in Brazil not looking too good. We did go red on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but managing to hold right around those key levels, like that 40,000 at 3,000, they've kind of been holding and treading water. But yeah, not looking good overall when we had that rug pull in the turn. I know Brainerd had some comments, nothing that blew away in midday, but that just added to a bit of the problem.
Now, Brainerd, what, came out today with more stuff?
Nothing. It was nothing too strong. He didn't say anything that wasn't already said. Let's put it that way.
Okay, yeah. So more words there, and she is supposed to be one of the biggest doves on board. So I got to give a big shout out to Trader Pratt, who, I mean, just went through that whole show there. He was golfing yesterday.
In the rain.
Yeah, he's got to figure out what he's going to do with that hair. I think he's doing nothing. I think he's just letting it grow back to normal. Yeah, that looks good, though. I kind of like the salt and pepper look like that. I think that looks pretty badass right there. So thanks, Trader Pratt, for sticking it out today. Again, a big thank you to Arun filling in for Brendan, who's on vacation. Sent us some pictures at the cottage, looking really good, Brendan. I hope you're enjoying that for sure. A big shout out, as always, man. I mean, I keep doing it every day, but Lucas, Fahad, Mark, Maggie, Liz, everybody that's part of the Trader TV Live team here that works in the back to make this all happen. The desks are getting ready, man. We're just waiting for product to come in, cameras, so on and so forth. Right there it is, ready to rock and roll. There's all the guys in the background. They're there, right there. There's my hand. There's they are. Right there they are, right behind us. Big shout out to Neil again. Look, Neil looking very comfortable in his new spot there. So I don't know if you're trying to take this over or not, but no, the Dikembe Mutombo wave right there.
Nope.
No, but
Nope.
I think you're doing a great job. And actually, my brother on the weekend, he goes, wow, Neil does a great job there filling in for Brendan. And I was like, yeah, he does. But I miss Neil beside me as well. Arun is non-committal to this desk. So, you know, we'll be joining back. The team will be back together on Monday. Remember, we're not here Friday. It's only... That's a few days away, but just a reminder about Easter. So, and a congratulations to Ms. V, who goes live today for the very first time, and it's a successful day. So whenever that happens, we go big shout out to you, Ms. V. Thank you for all the super chats today from everybody. We will see you tomorrow. We're the Trader TV Live team. Ciao, guys.